Okay, and we are now live. What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the first episode of Wars in the Stars. I am here with my co-host Alex, and we have a special guest, Gabe. Let's start with my co-host. Where can they find you? And I want to I don't know. Just tell me how you got into Star Wars. I guess we'll start with you, Alex.
Okay, so you can find me with my glorious name, Candy in my van, on TikTok. That's really the only social media I use. Man, I've been in Star Wars since I was like 2 or 3 years old. Um, the story of how I watched it was my dad was watching Return of the Jedi on the TV. I walked in and I silently watched from the shadows, and ever since then I've been hooked on Star Wars.
Mm. All right. Yeah, that's really cool. Gabe, you can introduce yourself and tell them where they can find you.
Uh, okay, so my name's Gabriel. I go by Darth Crate on TikTok. So it's Darth Crate, all lower caps, 5, right? Um, so I'm assuming you want me to say my story about how I found my love for Star Wars now, right?
Yeah, sure. Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, so it all started. So my best friend since I was like 4 years old. Like we've known each other since we were like little kids, right? And I remember we were 12 years old. It was in the summer of grade 7. And he was like, "Gabe, you need to watch the Star Wars prequels." Because I was always a humongous movie fan growing up. Like any movie series you could bet your life on, I've watched it. I've been a movie buff since I was 6 years old. 6 years old. So I remember I watched episode 1 in the blaring heat of my room off of a PS2 that I had in my closet because that was the only thing that played DVDs. And since that summer, that 12-year-old summer, I've just been a Star Wars fan, like to the grave, every day.
That is yeah, that's really awesome. I guess if you guys don't know who I am Hammy Demand. You can find me on TikTok at Hammy Demand. You can find me on Twitch, obviously, here at Hammy Demand. And yeah, we are going to talk. I guess uh, I've had in mind a podcast for a while. I had done podcast with Alex before. I had done a couple with Darth Choco. I had done a couple with some other creators. So I've always wanted to do a set schedule type podcast, and I thought, what a perfect time before the Bad Batch to get into it. So I guess, what are you guys most excited for? Um, what Star Wars project are you most excited for?
Without a
Oh,
doubt, Ahsoka and Kenobi.
oh, same, 100% the same. But I think for different reasons between me and you.
I mean, I'm excited for Kenobi just because there isn't much of the story told there, and
Yeah.
from what we do have, I want to see it in live action. I want to see, since he's already been confirmed, Uncle Owen and Obi-Wan's connection. If you've read the comics, you would know they have a pretty sour relationship towards each
Yeah,
other.
yeah,
So I want to see that reincarnated in live action. So, and
Yeah,
for
for sure.
Ahsoka, I mean, Ahsoka unfortunately is probably going to be a miniseries, which I really don't like this new wave of Star Wars and Marvel short series that they're doing. I really want
mm,
multi-season things, but I'm still excited. Rosario Dawson blew me away with how good she did as Ahsoka in The Mandalorian. So just I also I want to see how they're going to do that since they have this little Mandoverse set up. I wonder, is it going to culminate in a movie or Mando season 3 or 4 finale? Like, what's going to happen there?
hear me out, hear me out. Um, okay. You know how everyone was talking about who should they cast as the younger Ahsoka for the Kenobi flashbacks?
Yeah.
Uh,
They talked. Yeah.
yeah, like everyone's been discussing who should they have be like the younger Ahsoka, since of course like Rosario Dawson is too like tall. She's too like woman, like very like she has like the woman features, right? Like she can't pass for a teenage girl. What I was thinking is, yo, why not just get Ashley Eckstein to do it, right? You know, she, okay, hear me out. If you Google it, her height at the moment is I think she's 4'12", right? Ahsoka's height in Clone Wars is the same height. And a
Yeah.
young Ahsoka and Ashley Eckstein have a similar like facial structure compared to like Ashley Eckstein and the older Ahsoka.
Mhm.
So I think what they're going for with live action Ahsoka, or from what I've heard from people, is they're kind of going for, I guess Ahsoka has been portrayed like they want to portray her more as
Mm.
like a person of color or a woman of color. I guess
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
uh,
yeah.
Oh yeah.
specifically for the rebels. Also, if you guys didn't know, Lucasfilm has always said if they were to bring the rebels cast into live action, they would all be people of color. Obviously, with Mina Masood playing Ezra, that makes sense. We
That
don't know
made me
who's
so
who.
happy.
I think we'll
I
have,
have a hot take about that because
yeah.
with Rebels, you've mostly seen, if especially you, since you've been watching and you've been doing your rewatch, most of the Rebels characters models are based off of the actors. I think Taylor Gray could easily just reprise the role.
Yeah, I could see that, but
I think the one thing that might cause for a recast is Taylor's white and Ezra isn't really white. He's the animation is really weird because it portrays white people to not be white. They're kind of darker. Like
Yeah.
Kanan in some shots is very very orange. Like he had a very very bad spray tan. So it's like I could go for a recast or I could just keep Taylor Gray. I mean, there's only few of them where it's like, yeah, they don't look like they're who they are. Like Callus is a white person voiced by a black person. So it's
Is she?
like,
I didn't
oh
know
yeah,
that.
yeah,
yeah. So of course, if they were to bring Callus into Rangers or into Ahsoka, Mando, Book of Boba Fett in this Mandoverse, of course I would have to call for a recast. But like most of the cast looks like their animated selves, especially Hera and Zeb, and Sabine's also a little bit on the kind of iffy side. She's mixed in the show, but I believe her actor is black. I don't remember all the actors
yeah,
off the top of my head.
right.
Yeah.
So
The Clone Wars has the opposite problem. Like Tamora Morrison is more um darker, I guess you would say, like darker, and like
mm,
the clones in the Clone Wars are sometimes like really white. Like their action
yeah.
figures too are
Yeah.
really
Yeah. I
Oh
really
noticed
white
yeah.
that. I
sometimes.
noticed that.
Yeah, so it's really somebody they just released an action figure tech and he's like as white as me. I'm like it's not what they're supposed to look like.
All right.
Yeah, so I guess for the first episode I kind of wanted to do a movie ranking because I've seen it going around on TikTok a month ago or so. I was going around on TikTok. I didn't do one personally. I did see a lot of people get harassed, sadly, for it, which is I've never understood that. But I guess we'll start with you, Alex, since you're my co-host. What do you got for a movie ranking?
I actually have my ranking that I'm gonna pull up real fast. I haven't.
Okay.
See, here's the thing: is since I've gotten into Marvel, I haven't watched a Star Wars movie in like 3 months. I'm planning on doing a huge rewatch because Bad Batch is coming out, and I want to be in the Star Wars mood for it. So, um, but yeah, before I get into that audio of the Star Wars ranking, that is one of the most toxic audios ever. They're just riddled with people just being the worst to people. It's so bad.
I
Yeah, it's
know.
really bad.
I know.
If you
Especially
remember, I don't know if you know her. It's Darth Vader, but like her name is spelled
yes.
weird. Her account got
She got
spam
yeah.
reported. It was so bad. I'm happy now that she
Yeah.
got her account back, but I felt so terrible for her, just
Hey,
because she
yeah.
put the sequels in her top.
I actually I hadn't been the way I look at it is like toxicity is always going to exist in the fandom, and I think I've gotten to the point now where I'm like, there's really no point in me calling it out. I know that sounds bad, but like, it's always going to exist. I know that sounds like a defeated person, but it's going to exist forever. It's just there's really, I guess the only thing we can do is minimize it or not make it as prevalent. But the thing
or could we absorb it?
yeah, well, the thing I like to think of is like now I had a podcast with this creator. I won't say
Mm.
their name. I have a lot of respect for this guy, but he makes a lot of videos. You know who I'm talking about, Alex. He calls it out a lot, but I'm like, that's exactly what they want. They want you to have that reaction where you get angry,
Yeah,
and I'm like, I try not to have. I mean, I try not to get. I know we're getting off track here, but kind of rambling.
it's
But
okay. It's okay.
I
No,
try.
this is good. This is good.
Yeah, I try. I don't get angry when I make those posts. I try to see it from a younger person perspective because usually most of these kids are younger and they're mostly ignorant. So it's really they'll grow out of it at some point, but it's always going to exist in the fandom, and there's really nothing we can do about it.
I will
I guess
say,
if one of you guys,
I'll go first, but I will say for the creator that you were thinking about, I'm not going to say it either. I kind of was like, who is he talking about? And I was like, oh, yeah, never mind. I remember who. But the thing with Star Wars, even to a certain degree with Marvel, since it has so many movies, you can definitely see the clear contrast in quality. Something that I love so much about the Star Wars movies is you can pick something great out about the movies, even the ones that are pretty lackluster, and you can still find something great about them. So
100% true.
like my bottom two movies are episode 2 and
what's up,
episode 1.
Avery?
They always flip and flop, but I still find so much to love about those movies. The thing about Star Wars is that I love all of the movies so much. I can't say, oh, I hate Attack of the Clones or I hate The Phantom Menace, because then that'd be saying I hate the Battle of Geonosis
No.
or I hate the Duel of the Fates or the pod racing or Qui-Gon Jinn. Like I can't say I hate something, but I can say I hate Thor: The Dark World.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
so
don't.
I have Thor: The Dark World is a mess of problems. But
Oh, bro, I can get you into like I have so many like opinions that like are they can't like they would think you would think they would contradict one another. Like many people with like toxic opinions, like they can't have a lot of diverse opinions because of their like bias. But I don't have
Right.
those, so I have like a lot of weird Star Wars opinions and thoughts
Yeah. So
because
here's the thing with me. Like I've said it multiple times. I absolutely despise the Rise of Skywalker. Like
same,
only
same.
watched I've only watched that movie twice. Okay, I don't, and it's hard. It's like a hard movie for me to watch. On it, so here's the thing with that. I don't want to make a lot of content on that because I'm gonna attract a weird audience that just like
Yeah, yeah.
who hates Kathleen
absolutely.
Kennedy and like believes that feminism's taken over the franchise. It's not true.
Yeah,
But like, I want to make a video saying, here's my problem with the Rise of Skywalker. It's pretty much I call it a glorified fan film. That's what I
Yeah.
call it.
I
Glorified fan
mean,
yeah, yeah. I see that.
yeah,
I see that. I have the same opinion on the sequel
and it
trilogy.
has it's a rip off Return of the Jedi ending. Just not as good,
yeah.
not as
I'm
emotionally impactful. And listen, as much as people say it, Palpatine doesn't destroy Anakin's legacy, but bringing just having his presence diminishes the ending of
It by a
Return of
little
the
bit, by
Jedi,
a little bit.
which in my opinion is the greatest the greatest thing in Star Wars. The last third of
Yeah,
Return of the Jedi,
the arc of
the last
Anakin
third of
Skywalker.
the last third of Return of the Jedi is the best piece of Star Wars, and the Rise of Skywalker kind of hurts it. Kind of hurts me watching Return of the Jedi now, just knowing how it ends. That's just my
eh,
take.
I don't think it hurts it. I think if it's depending on how you look at it. A lot of people look at it as fulfilling the prophecy. I look at it as just a father realizing his wrongs and wanting, even if knowing that he won't have galaxy acceptance, at least knowing one person will accept his apology by saving his life.
Yeah.
And that's why the whole, it ruined Vader's sacrifice. It didn't, because it was his final action to prove to his son that he was a good person. Even though, yes, he'd killed children and whatnot.
I have a headcanon regarding the whole prophecy.
The prophecy's a mess. I hate the Chosen One prophecy.
I feel like the 2012 buyout, the prophecy's intent was changed because of the content we got after it. So like, okay, I feel like the prophecy that was like being made into fruition before Disney's buyout is a little bit different in spirit than to the prophecy we're working with now. But we have to take this in, right? We know during like Rise of Skywalker, Rey defeats Palpatine by having all like the power of the Force ghosts that we hear talking work through her, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Now see, here's the thing. Whose voice do we hear? Anakin's, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Now see,
One
here's
of
the thing.
right.
Now here's the thing. Because of Episode 8, it kind of confirms you're like, okay, if you learn how to be a Force ghost, like your amount of power is like mind-numbing, right? Like Yoda was able to like make lightning come down from the sky, right? While Anakin was like he was the chosen one. He was birthed by the Force. So his potential is basically at max. Like he basically succeeds his potential as a Force ghost. And when he's working through Rey, in a way, is he helping the prophecy still come into fruition? Because Anakin is still a part of like the Sith being eliminated in that case. And if not, like, okay, my headcanon is this. Out of all the voices we hear, Rey's getting most of the power probably from Anakin.
Yeah,
I don't think it's so like,
deep. Yeah,
like,
it's not that deep,
well, not
bro.
deep,
It's one of
but
those. It's one of those moments.
It's not deep as it's not like people have like a power set and Rey's like pulling their skill tree levels away and applying them to her. I just think it's the power of all the Jedi, and I don't think one Jedi just has all the supreme power, and some of the other Jedis have less. I think it's all the Jedi coming together without one being the dominating force, because Anakin never reached his full potential.
But I'm saying when you become a Force ghost, you do.
I mean,
when you become a Force ghost, you do though. That's the thing. You reach your potential as a Force ghost.
If we're trying to say that Aayla Secura and Luminara reach their full potentials, man, the potential for Jedi must be extremely low.
Yeah,
but then
very true.
I guess that does vary from person to person.
Yeah, but Luminara and Sakura never became Force ghosts, right? Like that's kind of the deal when you make like Force ghosts.
Well, we don't know.
Like, why,
we don't know.
Yeah, we don't know if they ever became Force. I mean,
we hear their voice, right?
So yeah, we know Anakin became one. We know Qui-Gon became one. We know Obi-Wan became one. Luke became one. Leia became one.
But can I ask a question? So Qui-Gon didn't become a Force ghost right away, right? He had to learn how to.
So around the time of the Kenobi show is around the time that he figures out how to manifest himself.
The 10-year mark.
Because Kenobi takes place 10 years after Revenge of the Sith, and that's just around the point when Qui-Gon learned. Or when Obi-Wan learned how to be able to see his physical being. I don't know if it's Qui-Gon learned or if Obi-Wan learned.
So here's my thing. Here's my thing. So basically, I wish what we saw, instead of hearing the voices, I wish it was there. I wish it was at least the Force ghosts we knew before in canon, and they transferred their essence into Rey.
Yeah, that's how I imagine it. That's how I imagine it.
Something like that.
They were kind of like working through her in some way.
Yeah, and that's exactly like how I think it should have been.
I just want to say this: that whole fight scene is a mess. I'm just gonna say, can I say that? The whole fight scene is
a beautiful mess. I have rewatched most of the MCU, and I often compare the Rise of Skywalker to Endgame. Endgame is the movie that it's such a beautiful mess. There's so many great things that happen in it. I mean, Kylo in The Rise of Skywalker, that is like Kylo is the one. He's one of Star Wars' main consistently great characters.
Yes,
Awesome.
And,
Great.
he saves the sequel trilogy for many.
and
To be fair,
I mean, he is the one character that somehow JJ and Ryan never missed a step on. I don't know how. I can see people saying why Rey took a backseat and why some of her stuff got messed up. I personally don't think so, but Kylo is just, I don't know how, out of the mess that The Rise of Skywalker was, how Kylo was still so good in that movie, I couldn't even tell you. But the problem that I have with Rise of Skywalker and Endgame, especially, the logic in the movie that is presented doesn't make sense. It purely doesn't.
it fails. It
Like,
fails.
so, and they have a whole 16-hour thing, which if your movie has, once your movie has like a time crunch, like, oh, we have 20 hours to save Earth, your movie instantly loses it for me. Because then, of course, I know what's going to happen. It's going to be we just barely made it.
Yeah.
The thing is,
I know what you're saying.
hyperspace travel takes so long. There's no way you're trying to tell me they were able to hop from planet to planet to planet to planet in a matter of less than a day. Especially on Exegol. There's no way that would have happened.
It's a hard planet to get to.
What's your opinion on the hyperspace maneuvers done in The Last Jedi?
Holdo, it's a
the
1 in a
whole
million
is.
thing. It's a 1 in a million thing. I think it's
Yeah.
it's a good shot. I just don't care about the character, so I really didn't care when it happened. That's my thing.
I think it was a great scene that was like really jaw dropping, but at the end of the day, it's like you didn't care about who did it.
I've always said this about Ryan's movie. I don't mind a movie that takes risk, but when you take risk, you have to do it the whole movie. Because Ryan, I feel like, takes them, and then he's like, I don't want to push it any further. Because I feel like if The Last Jedi, there's some scenes there, like when Rey and Kylo, when they fight together, and it's the scene afterwards where it's like wrapping up. I'm like, they could have done something really cool where they team up now, like they're on the dark side or they're on the light side. Let's just say hypothetically, like Rey turns to the dark or Kylo turns to the light. I feel like that movie, when it takes the risk, it's got to go further. Because then when it stops at some point, it's like, come on, you did the risk.
The thing is while watching the movie, I thought they were going to do the switch. I thought Kylo was going to redeem himself, and I thought Rey was going to fall. I thought that would be like...
That would have been cool.
I thought that would have been Empire Strikes Back level twist. Like,
yeah.
Like, the person that they've been advertising as the main character just turned to the dark side.
Villain.
And then the person they've been portraying as the bad guy becomes the good guy. It would be mind-numbingly shocking. But
you guys want to hear my $1 million Star Wars idea? After
this? Go ahead.
To salvage the sequel trilogy.
Go ahead.
Oh, I can go?
Yeah, okay. Go ahead. Yeah.
Hear me out. We should do they should do a Kylo / Ben Solo trilogy, right? Because Kylo Ren / Ben Solo is one of the characters of the sequel trilogy admittedly all parts of the fandom loves. Right? You know, prequel fans love Ben Solo because he's the grandson of Anakin, right? And we see a lot of Anakin in him, right? While original trilogy fans like him a lot because they see a lot of like Darth Vader / Han in him. So what I'm thinking, right, is okay, this idea came to me while watching like The Force Awakens for like the 4th time. It's funny, I really love that movie. I need to go into that after. So in it, they really make it sound like Ben did not have a good childhood, right? Like it does not sound like he had a really good one. They made it sound like Leia and Han fighting, right? Kind of made it worse. I kind of feel like the vibe I get from it is Ben probably felt like he was stuck in the middle, right? So what ends up happening to him? He gets sent to Luke, right? So he's probably training at Luke's academy for like the beginning of the trilogy. And like Luke ends up being kind of like a surrogate father, right? Like we could like this is all stuff that like you can naturally infer in, right? Like it's not really a stretch for most of this stuff. Now, then you exploit the relationship he has with Luke, right? Apply that to when when Luke almost kills him, right, in his sleep. That would be like a really good way to like kind of show Kylo Ren's fall, right? It would kind of make it make it feel like a lot more hurtful. Seeing like the one person that he could probably like, open up to, right? The one person who made him like, put his guard down, right? Like, try to hurt him the way they portray it to be, right? And like if we got something as like, epic and dark and gritty as that, it could kind of get more people more into the sequel trilogy. What do you guys think?
I think that could. I think that would honestly cause more division because the thing
It
is
would. It would.
Kylo's vision is already getting misconstrued as the actual thing, and I don't think the next thing we need is another retelling of it from his perspective, because then it's
No,
going
it
to be the
wouldn't be a
whole
retelling.
bandwagon.
It would be off of like, okay, you could show it through both perspectives, right? You show it through the perspective of Ben, right? But we both know it's because of but like Ben is hearing and seeing the future in his sleep, right? So we put like a heavy tone on that too. So we could kind of see like the horrific things that he might end up doing. So then like we're also like kind of like torn up. We know how bad it's gonna be. Like we need to make it like okay, they need to make it feel like the stuff Luke saw was to the level of like dark stuff Anakin did during Operation Nightfall. I'm thinking, you know, like kind of
So yeah,
justify everything.
so here's my thing with divisions. I think the movie did a terrible job present. I think the movie should have just shown the actual one, like because I think it
Yeah,
kind of could. Uh, it's been a while since I've seen the movie, but every time I've watched it, I'm like, I didn't need to see the dream sequence 3 times from three
that is
different
true.
ways.
That is true.
I
I
just
disagree. I think you should have seen it 3 times, and the reason why is I've said this to many times. I don't think Rey's the main character of the sequels. I just don't think she had main character quality. I think that was given to Kylo, and it's very evident because he's consistently the best written through the trilogy,
Yeah,
and I think you need to see his corrupted vision. Now,
yeah,
I'm someone who thinks that you should read books. You should read the comics for Star Wars. I don't think Star Wars is just a movie thing anymore. I think the
yeah,
comics and the books are a huge part of the storytelling of Star Wars. And when you read stuff like the Rise of Kylo Ren comics, those scenes get changed so dramatically from did this guy kill him or attempt to kill him because of a bad dream? I
mm,
mean, because that's not what happened. That's
yeah,
what Kylo thinks happened. He thinks he saw a bad dream and swung for it. But we know that Kylo in the comics, he didn't even burn the temple down. The
yeah. It
Force
was
did it.
Snoke.
The
It was
Force,
Snoke.
yeah.
Wait,
It was a random sudden lightning strike that happened.
really?
Speculated to be Yoda or Snoke or Palpatine. I don't think Palpatine or Snoke would have done it. I think Yoda is the more likely the one to do it since we've seen him do it before. But I also don't think it. I just think it was the Force acting with will there. I don't think just a random sudden lightning bolt with no thunderstorm or anything happening. And the comic's actually like really good. It portrays Ben in that moment of like he didn't want any of this to happen. He just thought what he was doing was right. And I mean it is a dark place. And if you've
Yeah,
read the panels with him and Snoke, some creepy stuff has been happening between them two.
yeah,
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 It
right.
is weird because you know, I mean, it is literally like he's touching Ben's face like very creepily. So it's like, It's like and the thing is the comics also reveal that that's not the first time that they've met. We've known that Ben has met with Snoke for a long time, and we know Palpatine has been pulling the strings. The comic even shows him on Exegol talking to Kylo, being just some random voice that he keeps hearing. Uh, so that's why I think that the three visions had to be seen. You needed to see the biased Kylo, the biased Luke, and then you needed Luke to come clean and say what actually happened. Because it's the thing is Rey in that movie is very much the audience figure because she has all the same questions that we have. Why are you here? Why are you not helping people? Why are you being so grumpy? Why are you this old hermit who went from saving the biggest Sith Lord in history, Darth Vader, to then attempting to kill someone in their sleep? And then we find out that's not what happened, but Luke essentially came to terms with that and was like, sure, happened. I mean, I guess.
Yeah,
but what I'm
Oh, go ahead, man.
oh, you go for oh, okay. What I'm saying is like, okay, I'm saying like we develop that whole like distrust Luke ends up having in Kylo, right? You develop it from like a wanting for trust, right? Like Luke wants to trust like Ben, right? Like he says how like, oh, at first he was almost even excited to train him because it was like Skywalker blood, right? Like the potential he could be my heir, right? Like we could just imagine how well like Luke would want to treat his nephew in that case, how much he would probably love his nephew. But then slowly, it all kind of like it gets perverted, right? As he starts hearing like as Kylo starts hearing Snoke's voice in his head, as Luke can feel the dark side, creep inside him. Like we can like see the downfall before it all happens. Kind of similar to how when like Obi-Wan talks about Anakin and their brotherhood, right? Back in A New Hope, years before the Clone Wars ever happened, right? But eventually we got that character development. Eventually we got it, right? We could get like something just as epic between Luke and Ben, I feel.
Yeah, I could see that, but the problem is um, with a Ben Solo show is you're gonna have to recast because
Yeah,
Adam won't come back. Adam
yeah.
won't come back. He's
It's sad. It's sad.
Well, no, I
but
mean he's lived his arc. He played
Yeah.
him from a 26-year-old kid or a 26-year-old to a like almost 40-year-old. So I mean he's definitely had his toll as Kylo Ren. I
Mm.
don't think that this story should be told through movies. I think him and Luke's relationship is almost perfect in the comics because it's Luke understanding the impatience of wanting to have the adventure because he went through it just not even 10 years ago
Mm.
or not even 20 years ago. So he
yeah,
understands the excitement that Ben wants to go through. He wants to go help him on his missions, but he can't. But Luke kind of always has this favoritism towards him. He always brings Ben on the missions with him. He always lets the students stay at the temple other than him. So I think it should be a story told. I think we should see more of Ben and Luke together
Yeah,
but
yeah,
through
same,
comics.
same.
I don't think a movie or a series would. I don't think it would work.
I think okay, with exception of casting, right? Like okay, it's not necessarily just like a movie or anything I really want specifically. I just want like, that story to be like, explored more because the thing about the sequel trilogy is there's a lot of parts of it that like okay, in all honesty, they aren't too good, right? Like there's parts that admittedly are bad. However, there are also parts in every movie that they have that it's like, oh my God, this is great, right? This is amazing, right? And that's kind of like that's what I feel like the whole Ben Solo in general throughout the sequel trilogy, like makes me want to see more of him, right? Like his upbringing, his other stories. And I feel like if it only got left to like comics, it would feel kind of like a waste. Because okay, imagine if like we all the like old Ben in the middle of the desert stories. got left in the books or some of the other comic books because I'm familiar with both sides. If that were to happen, we would have never gotten Kenobi, right? And we all know how sick that's gonna be.
Right.
Mhm.
I guess I kind of want to segue into another topic, but I guess my thoughts on it all is I do think there is stuff in development with Ben Solo at Lucasfilm that's been rumored for a while now. I definitely think we're going to get a Luke Skywalker show, and I definitely think
Mhm.
that's happening. So, and why not? He's arguably one of the best characters in Star Wars. So, you could see a younger Ben Solo. We could see Grogu maybe. I definitely think a show with Luke, Grogu, and a young Ben Solo, that would be great. That would make a lot of money for Lucasfilm, and they should do it. Cast Sebastian Stan as Luke. So
No, don't do it.
Yeah,
gotta do
yeah,
it.
I'm down.
Don't do
I'm
it.
down.
I
No,
know you don't want Sebastian. Why do you not
don't.
want Sebastian
Why?
Stan?
Why? Why?
Because
Why?
that will always be James Buchanan Barnes, not Luke
It will
Skywalker.
be. It will be.
It can't be. It
Uh,
can't be James Buchanan Barnes and Luke Skywalker, or just Luke. It's always
I
going to
don't
be
know,
Bucky
man.
Barnes.
I don't
What
know.
about
I
what
don't know.
about what about
They both have metal hands. They both have metal hands.
what about Mark?
Yeah,
What about Mark Hamill? Mark Hamill literally played the Joker in animation.
yeah.
You
Would
don't
never
would he
know. Would
you
never
wouldn't
Batman the
know.
know?
animated series is amazing. I started
He's good
watching
in it.
it.
That's the
I started
different. That's
watching it.
different though,
It's
because
outstanding.
that's animated, and you don't even see his face. But
Hmm.
I would just never be able to pull the contrast apart. That's why I don't want Robert Downey Jr., Chris Evans, Chris
100%.
Hemsworth,
They have to
Sebastian
be in Star
Stan.
Wars. They have to be in Star Wars.
I want to see them, but I also don't because I'm never. If I see
Uh,
Chris Hemsworth, I want him to say that he's the God of Thunder, not some Jedi or some
yeah,
Sith.
yeah. But see, here's the thing. Here's the
Chris
thing.
Hemsworth would make a great Jedi, by the way. A great
Yes, he would.
A High Republic Jedi would be cooler. An
I've
Old
been getting
Republic.
into the High Republic. It's surprising me. I thought it was gonna be way worse and way more sucky, but it's actually good. Like they don't
No,
advertise it right. I feel like.
I will say this to the day I die. Star Wars is always better as books, not TV shows or movies.
No,
No, not. I
no.
can't agree
I
with
will.
that. I
The
can't agree
the
with that. I'm
peak Star
sorry.
Wars,
I'm sorry.
the best Star Wars is television shows or animated shows. That's the heart of Star Wars.
I will always say
Mandalorian,
the books.
Um,
Clone Wars, Rebels, Heart of Star Wars. That's it. That's the big three. Or exclude Rebels, not yet. Clone Wars.
Rebels is the best thing in Star Wars. Don't you even?
That's I don't
Rebels
think
I
is hella
so.
underrated.
I
It's
I
too
have my
underrated.
ranking. I have my ranking right here,
Okay,
and
we got to do our
Rebels is number
rankings.
one. All
Yeah,
Okay,
right.
rankings.
I'll use the audios that includes the TV shows other than Resistance because that would be instantly the worst one. Even though I do think
Mhm.
Resistance is good, I don't think it's top 10.
I haven't
Top,
seen an episode, so
you're not missing much. You're seeing what's not happening during the events of the end of the Force Awakens and the beginning of the Last Jedi. That's all
I'll
you're
give it a
missing.
watch.
You're missing some. You'll see some Poe in there, and even then, you could. I don't like Oscar Isaac as a voice actor.
How's the animation? Is it bad or is it okay? Or
It's meant for like 4-year-olds, so it's hard to
oh,
get
okay.
past.
Yeah.
It's hard to
Yeah.
get past, but once you do, it's nothing.
I mean, I had a problem with Rebels, so that's gonna be.
Have you got past the animation though?
The animation's not bad for the show style. I don't think for the time period. I don't think it's
Okay.
bad. If Rebels, I'll say this. I definitely prefer Clone Wars animation.
I mean,
But
everyone does.
I can say yeah. But I don't mind it. I think it fits the time period and fits the characters almost. I don't know
It
why.
fits the
It just
vibe.
sets them
It fits
apart.
the
It's
vibe.
yeah.
It
Yeah,
fits
I
the
will say
vibe.
this before I get into my list. I think Clone Wars has two like square of faces, and I think Rebels has two round of faces.
Yeah.
Their faces
Yeah.
are extremely round, like
Count
very
Dooku.
oval.
Count Dooku.
Oh, Dooku's face. Why did they never fix it?
I don't
Okay,
know
I'm
why.
happy
It's
they
just
didn't.
funny.
I'm happy they
It's just
didn't.
funny.
it is. All right,
It's just
so
funny.
at 14, I have Attack of the Clones. This
Mm.
movie has one good part. No, two good parts. It's everything on Camino and everything on Geonosis. Everything else might be some of the worst cinema stuff I've ever seen.
It's a bold take.
Yeah. Then I have Phantom Menace. Duel of the Fates, pod racing, Qui-Gon Jinn. It's all that's notable about this movie. Yeah. So then I have Rise of Skywalker. I have watched this movie 15 times. It is my second most watched Star Wars movie.
Why? If it ranks so low.
I tried to like it. I tried to like it.
I love
Yeah,
that.
that's what
I love that. Why did you watch a movie so many times, but it's ranked so low? I tried to like it.
That's a
I love that, man. That one was
everything-
good. That one was good.
Everything on Exegol is perfect. Everything else I can't get behind, other than Kylo Ren. What they did to Finn and Poe in that movie is criminal.
oh yeah.
All should be locked up in jail for that.
Finn Poe, baby. That was behind that
Exactly.
relationship. That they never did it.
They're
Never pulled the
such
trigger.
pussies for not pulling the trigger on that.
Never.
I don't know. I don't know. Because would it suit his journey of being force sensitive?
Yes.
Or would they collide too much? Right? Because you would be asking
Finn
which one
Poe.
do you want to see more screen time.
Finn Poe.
No, listen.
Not Finn the Jedi.
I wanted Finn and Ray. I wanted Finn and Ray so bad. I
that
thought
could've
it
worked.
would have been cool. Bro, episode 7, they allude to it so much through cinematography. Literally when they walk into is it like a cantina on Canto Bay,
Yeah.
I think?
Yeah.
Right?
No, and
when
Takodana.
they're walking, they're
Takodana.
literally walking. They're literally walking side by side, right? Like it's perfectly symmetrical.
Yeah.
Like it's so beautiful. Like I wanted Finn and Ray so bad because we do not see enough like mixed couples.
Yeah. I mean, I prefer Finn Poe, but I didn't ship Ray and Finn. I just thought it was Finn who finally got a friend, and he wanted to preserve him.
I want to say this. I'm going to say this.
That's cool too.
I'm going to say this, and this might go on my TikTok. This is a joke, by the way. The worst people in the fandom are Raylos. Sorry, I have to say it. Worst people
Raylos
in the fandom
are
are Raylos.
weird. Raylos are weird.
They're pretty
Let's
weird.
gang up on Candy in my van.
No.
Even if you're not Raylo, I have a conspiracy theory of it.
No, Raylos are just they ship and they ship too hard, and they're a little weird when it comes to Adam Driver.
Look,
guys.
it's almost as
Raylos
bad.
aren't the worst. Raylos aren't the worst.
That was a joke,
Raylos aren't
but they're
the
pretty
worst.
bad. They're pretty bad.
Raylos aren't
They're
the
the
worst.
worst.
Come on. No. There's only one kind of Star Wars fan that should be burned at the stake, right? And
Prequel fans.
Disregard. I'm not done. Be disregarded as not true Star Wars fans.
Still prequel fans.
People that ship Anakin and Ahsoka.
Ahsoka with anyone in the Clone Wars.
Yeah, besides the Lux.
I'm sorry, man. I can't hop on the prequel fan hate. I consider myself a prequel fan.
No,
No,
listen. You made a video where it's the audio, where the audio with I can't. It's the Minecraft one where it's like Steve, and it's like and you put Anakin as the racist, and I was gonna.
Bro, that was
I remember watching that. I remember watching that.
It was one of my most interacted on videos, bro. Everyone
I'm
started calling me a bunch of bad stuff because I called Anakin a racist and I called Ray the fighter.
And
Bro,
I was like,
purely meant to troll people.
I was like, man, that kind of hurt. That kind of hurt.
Look,
Yeah, I know you made that video with me in mind. It's like, yes, I'm gonna.
I have
That's
you in
funny.
mind with a lot of the videos I make. That's why I tag you in them.
Yeah. See. Yeah.
Alright, but-
Okay, go ahead. Finish your list. Okay, 1
Okay.
second. We have a comment here. It's human nature to simp for Adam Driver. I disagree with that.
Correct.
I do not-
I agree.
Nope. Well. I saw him in A Marriage Story, and like ever since then, I just look at the guy and feel his emotions.
I couldn't stop looking at Scarlett Johansson. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
All right, so at 11 might be controversial, even though with a lot of audios in this list, I've seen it. I have A New Hope at 11. I'm sorry. It's just it doesn't age well.
It
Pacing's
doesn't
bad.
click. It doesn't click. It doesn't
Oh,
click.
the pacing's great. The pacing's great in my opinion. It's
I
the
think
best paced Star Wars film besides Empire. It's my opinion. It's my take.
I think the best paced Star Wars film, honestly, is either Force Awakens or Revenge of the Sith. Even though I do have a little bit of the problem with Revenge of the Sith and its pacing.
Ah,
But
I have a lot of problems with that movie, but it's in my top 4. I actually have
it's
I
my
have a
number
lot of
one.
problems
I'm
with that movie.
sorry.
Alright,
I
so
see
I
a lot
have-
of the flaws.
yes. So at number 10, this is a movie I'm going to rewatch because I genuinely think that I need to give this more than a chance. Rogue One at 10.
Yeah,
the
way too
problems
low
with this
for me.
problem with this film is I don't like the first 2 acts, and it's almost so clear that they had the third act already completed, and they're like, shit, the movie's only like 30 minutes. We need to add like an extra hour and 30 minutes on.
Dude, I went back and watched the trailer because it was the 5-year anniversary. The trailer is nothing like the movie. The trailer is absolutely
different.
Really,
Oh
that's
my
surprising.
God.
So
I think what I honestly think was I think the movie was like ridiculously dark for a Star Wars movie, and they're like, we need to like lighten this up a little bit. I think it could have been like a rated R Star Wars film. I'm being
I
honest.
would
Like,
have loved
yeah.
that. I would have loved that. I would have loved that.
I don't think so. I think Star Wars is made for. I wouldn't say Star Wars is made for kids. I would say it's made for teenagers and kids.
Yeah.
I say
yeah.
I say the demographic is like, 9 to like 14. I feel like that's the like core demographic that you want.
Yeah, right.
A little bit older. Little bit older.
Yeah.
I will say this.
Think about
I will
all
say
the
this.
legend stuff we had. Like, the Yuuzhan Vong. Like, that was more like a 16-year-old thing. Like, they would torture each other for fun. Right?
I would say this. The Mandalorian is definitely made for an older.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That show's
No, a man gets
brutal. And
cut in half. A man
yeah,
gets cut
first
in half
like,
in episode
few
1.
minutes of the episode.
Yeah.
No, dude, we literally see in the season finale, like Mando literally like choke out a stormtrooper, like literally like decapitate him.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what I want. Oh wait, finish the list because there's something I
Yeah.
want to bring up when I do mine.
All right.
Okay,
so
go ahead.
At number 9, I have Force Awakens. I think it is better than A New Hope, not by much. I just think the lightsaber fight and the space battle, just because of modern day technology, is just better. And I also like more of the characters in this movie than I do A New Hope. I have a huge serious problem with whiny Luke. He annoys the piss out of me. Every time it's Luke complaining, like, I was going to Tashi Station to pick up some power converters. And just like, oh my God, you sound like every prequel fanboy when someone says Rey Skywalker. So then at number 8, I have The Mandalorian. I think once season 3 comes out, I think it's gonna come to the top 3 for me.
Okay.
7,
let me ask. I want to honestly know because I've been trying to figure it out. What do you not like about the show? Like, what is one thing you complain about?
The Mandalorian.
Yeah. What is what?
So for season 2, it harbors on nostalgia way too much. Clone Wars nostalgia. Like, come on. Ahsoka.
Okay, I'll go. I'll talk about how I don't think it hurts the story, but I understand it.
I don't think it hurts the story. I think it harbors too much on it. I think it's just like, can we please move past Clone Wars? Like, we're almost at the age of the sequels, and we're still doing Clone Wars stuff.
Yeah.
Like, I understand the Clone Wars is easily Star Wars' most marketable thing. I mean, without a doubt, that era is the most marketable. But come on.
Yeah.
Can we like please move away from this? Just like for one show.
I'll go into like how I think it's it actually has benefited the show. I'll talk a little bit about that.
I just think with season 3, I think it needs to focus more on Din and not Clone Wars references. I think if the show culminates in either a movie or a series finale of taking Mandalore, bro, it'll easily be in the top 3. That is something I've always wanted to see, is a true battle of Mandalore. Not a siege of Mandalore, but a battle.
I will say
true Mandalorian war.
I will say this from the rumors and stuff about season 3, and I think we're going to see live action Mandalore in 2022.
I do too, and I'm so excited.
Live action Mandalore is gonna look. I mean, maybe it's a dust planet now. It might be all dust. Who knows at this
Well,
point?
Boba Fett said it got turned to glass, so
Yeah.
um,
Well, Boba Fett, we don't know what he's been doing, so he could be totally
Hey,
wrong. We
hey,
don't
Yeah.
know.
hey, take it in, take it in. Okay, Mandalore being referred to as like turned into glass isn't the first time like it was ever referenced of like the Empire turning a planet to glass, right? Like, okay,
mhm.
Palpatine makes the same reference to Vader when like offering Mustafar to him, right? Originally, like when he offers Tatooine, he's like, "Oh, you can turn this planet to glass." So like I literally just took it in. Like those two kind of correlate in a way,
Yeah.
Yep.
right?
Two very key
So
planets
yeah,
turn to glass. So
yeah.
I have 7 Solo. I have 6 Revenge of the Sith. I have
Okay.
5. I have the Clone Wars. 4.
Okay.
I have Empire Strikes Back. I have 3
Wow.
Return of the
Wait.
Jedi.
Wait, wait, wait,
What?
wait, 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 whoa, 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 whoa. Why do you
What?
have one of the greatest films in cinema at 4 for just Star Wars? Why? Why does it not crack at least your top 3?
I just think, like we were saying earlier, the third act of Return of the Jedi is peak Star Wars. Um, and I'll finish my list right here. I have 2 The Last Jedi, and I have 1 Rebels. Though Rebels is just like my comfort show of anything. Marvel, Star Wars, anything. That is the show that's just like, if I want a feel good, like right now, I'm turning season 2's finale on, season 1 finales on. I'm turning literally any of the finales on, any of the season or series premieres, any of it.
Listen, can I say
You
something
would
real quick? When I've done my Rebels rewatch in the first and second season, because I watched the episodes late at night, there were some episodes I almost fell asleep. Like I could get really bored from that. Like the Clone Wars, I don't even get bored from. Even with bad episodes, I don't get bored. Rebels has a weird thing where like, and here's the thing with Rebels, I am only interested if the scene has Ezra, Kanan, or Hera. Or even sometimes Sabine. I really don't care if it's like Chopper or Zeb on screen. I'm like, half the
You're gonna
time
be
when Zeb,
you're gonna be
half the
saying
time
that,
when
but you haven't gotten to season 3.
okay, half the listen, Zeb. What I like about season 2 is it gave each character like an arc, like a specific arc, and which I really enjoyed. But it still didn't like. I still don't care for like I don't care. Like Zeb could die, and I
yo.
wouldn't care.
Oh,
Zeb
you're
is the
not gonna be saying
Drax.
that. You're
Zeb
not
is
gonna
the
be saying that.
Drax of Star
You're
Wars.
you're
Zeb
not
is
gonna
the
be saying that.
Drax.
Take it
You're
back.
not
Zeb
gonna
is
be
Take it
Zeb
back.
is the.
You're not gonna be
I'm not
saying
taking
that in
it
a while.
back.
You're not gonna
Take
say
it back.
no.
And
Candy.
Chopper's
You
the
just
worst
gotta
droid
give
in
him
Star
time.
Wars. Sorry.
Watch. We'll give him time, and he will admit it himself. He will admit it
Zeb is
himself
Zeb
once
is
he
the
sees it. But yo,
Zeb is the Drax of
Candy,
Star
let me
Wars.
get this straight. Candy, let me get this
Okay.
straight. You watch Twilight of the Apprentice when you feel like being happy?
Correct.
What kind of madman are you, man? Bro, that
I
is like
just feel
the
sad.
those are the two I don't know what's sadder, the finale or Twilight of the Apprentice, man. Like
Dude,
I'm a
Nah.
prequel fan. That's why I love Rebels.
I still will
That's
never
I
I
love
will
Rebels because of the prequels.
I will
Like
never
and like
forget.
watching
Yeah, I'll never forget the first time I watched that episode. I'm like, oh my god, this is like so hard. It's like everything I wish for to see as a fan. And then just the moment, I think the moment that always gets me is when you hear James Earl Jones and Matt Lantern's voice together, and it says
Mhm.
Ahsoka, and it's just like, oh my god. And
Yeah.
then Anakin, and it's just like, it's just it's so good. It's one of the best. It is easily
Yes.
the best episode of Rebels for me. And as I said, that's a problem for me because the episode,
Mhm. Should not be a problem.
no, it is because the
why?
episode,
Why?
here's the thing.
To be fair,
For to
it's
me, when Ezra is the fourth best character in those two episodes, that's a problem. If even with my favorite episode of The Mandalorian, it's the season finale. Din is still easily the best character in that season finale. Din still has the best moments.
yeah, that is true. And I think what he's trying to say here is it's kind of bad that one of the most emotional moments of the show is actually profiting off of like the work of the Clone Wars and like the
Well,
George Lucas movies,
I
you
think
know,
I think it should
instead of the
also
original
be
cast.
reminded. I think it should also be reminded that the Mandalorian and Rebels are completely different. The Mandalorian is centered around
Yeah,
him.
yeah,
It's his
yeah,
story, and there's other
yeah.
people in it who are a part of his story, but they are not his people. Kara, IG-11, Queel, Boba, Fennec, all them. They're not the main characters like him and Grogu are. With Rebels,
True.
you have the main characters of Ezra, Kanan, Ahsoka, Hera, Vader, the Inquisitors. All these people are the main character. It's their story, but you don't have that with Mando, where you know you don't have an episode dedicated to Fennec Shand. You don't have an episode dedicated to Boba Fett. He's getting his own TV show for that stuff. You don't have
Yeah.
an episode dedicated to Moff Gideon. But with Rebels, you have episodes dedicated to Zeb. You have episodes dedicated to Sabine, to Chopper, to Hera, to Kanan, and to Ezra. And I think that yes, in the first two seasons, that I think they got it wrong with how frequent they did it. You only got one episode for them, and I definitely think season 3 and 4, especially 3, very much improved on the frequency of their self-isolated things. Sabine is easily one of the shining forces of season 3. She is one of the best characters in season 3, especially in things like Trials of the Darksaber. And so that's why Rebels ranked so high, is because Rebels is a show you can progressively see the quality got better every
Yeah.
single season. It's not, you
Same
can't
thing with Clone
compare.
Wars. Same thing with
Yes,
Clone Wars, though.
especially Clone Wars. You can't compare
Yeah.
Clone Wars season 7 to Clone Wars season 1, and you
Oh,
can't
it's
compare
different. It's a
Rebels.
different show. It's a
You
different
can't
show
compare
entirely.
Rebels season 4 to season 1 because it's different. The problem with Clone Wars season 1 and Rebels season 1 is they're trying to find their footing. They're trying to find what works, what doesn't
Yeah.
work. And
Yeah.
what didn't work was a lot of people said, "Hey, who are these other people that we're supposed to be super engaged with?" And then with Clone
Hey, my
Wars,
man.
oh
Can,
yeah,
can I get your opinion on something?
oh no,
What's your opinion on like Ezra coming back as a dark sider for the
nope,
Ahsoka show?
I
I
don't
think
want
it
want it.
it.
has
I
to
want
happen.
it. I want it. I think it can
Don't
happen.
want it.
It's entirely possible. It's entirely possible.
Yeah, oh,
Can I
it's
explain?
possible, and it's probably gonna
It's
happen,
entirely possible.
but I
I
don't want
want it to happen. I want it to happen, bro. Can I explain why? Okay.
it.
Okay. Look at it like this. Are you familiar with like any Legends continuity stuff?
If this comes in with the Gray Jedi, this conversation will be over quick.
Don't worry, don't worry. I got something a lot better than that. I got something a lot better than that. Okay, are
White
you
Jedi,
familiar? Are you familiar with the Sith Lord Darth Krayt?
of course. That's
Right?
your
Okay.
name.
Yeah, that's my name, of course, but like specifically his story. Are you like you're
Somewhat.
familiar with his story, right? His story and Ezra's story are very similar for some reason. Like there's a lot of like key plot points that are similar that are like nowhere in other like canon to Legends characters, right? When it's like the two characters have such a similar story. Both are introduced like as Jedi, however are shown to like struggle with the dark side. Both of them end up both of them end up wanting to learn knowledge from the Sith to destroy the Sith. Both of them end up being like lost in the outer regions during like the end of the Empire, right? Like
Mm.
there's a lot of stuff they have in common. Both of them have like strong connections to characters who had like a strong connection to Anakin Skywalker, right? Ezra was trained by Ahsoka, as we all know, and what's it called? Darth Krayt was trained by like this bird master that was cool with Anakin in the comics, right?
Mm.
My point being, right? You know how John Favreau said he wants to bring in more Legends continuity stuff,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
I
kind of.
think I think Ezra's story is kind of mirroring Krayt's story in like a canon version, right? And like both situations kind of wanted to show like like a Middle Eastern take like a Middle Eastern character, right? As we all know, like Ezra is supposed to be like something for like, more brown people like me. I can say that because I'm brown, right?
Yeah.
Like it's supposed to be more of a take for like those people, right? Like something like they can enjoy. And I think just because of like the amount of similarities in the two stories of the two characters, both me Obi-Wan while he's like basically a monk in the desert, right? Like there's so many similarities between the two. Like I just really makes me confident to think like what if we see Ezra shooting lightning out of his fingers? Like that would be cool. That would be cool.
It's possible, but I just don't want it to happen.
I want it.
But
I want it so bad.
here's my thing with like a darker Ezra. It would make sense to me.
They teased it.
Just
They
be
teased the Baron rebels. Don't lie.
Oh
no,
yeah,
but
very heavily.
it would just make sense to me because uh I don't think Thrawn is a big enough bad. I think they need
Yeah, we
I
need
think
somebody
they
with the Force. We need someone with the Force.
yeah. And yeah, all right. I guess Gabe, you want to give your list for all the shows and movies?
I'll try to. I'll try to. I didn't write this down or anything. So should I go from most liked to least liked, or least liked to most liked?
Uh
Go for
least
the
least
least
like
eye.
least to most.
Okay, this is similar to Candy's, but not in some ways, right? Okay,
Okay.
so my least liked movie of the start, like movies slash TV shows, would have to be Rise of Skywalker, right? I'm gonna sound some of this list is gonna sound very basic, right? But I don't mean to. Rise of Skywalker, I mostly didn't like it because it made The Last Jedi feel kind of useless, right? Like they were trying so hard to distance themselves from The Last Jedi. It didn't really feel like it was even a sequel to that movie. Like Rise of Skywalker really feels like something you can just go from like episode 7 to episode 9, right? You like it doesn't feel like anything really happens in between. Then it would go The Last Jedi because I don't know, the fact that like okay, they kind of got rid of Luke in the same movie that like he showed up in. It kind of hurt, right? It kind of hurt. Then it would be Phantom Menace because oh wait, yeah, it would be Phantom Menace because honestly, I'm a prequel fan, but Phantom Menace is the weakest one out of all of them. But I think does a really good job at setting up the trilogy. It does a good job at setting it up for the prequels, which I respect. And then like my hottest take would be A New Hope. A New Hope is there.
See?
Like right there, right? Mostly because, okay, the screwed up part is this. I put A New Hope so low because I think The Force Awakens does it so much better, right? I think The Force Awakens does such a good job at introducing people to the universe. And the fact that, like, yo, the first 30 minutes of Force Awakens is admittedly pretty dark, right? Like it is like really dark, and that's what I loved about it, right? Like dark Star Wars is so unexplored, it just feels so right. Like okay, they killed the village, right? Um, Kylo torturing Poe was insane, right? Like you could see how painful like Poe was in. Like it didn't look like he was just forcing the thoughts out of his mind. It looked like he was like exploding the inside of the guy's brain, right? Like it is whack, right? How how did I start talking about The Force Awakens when I meant to talk about A New Hope? I'm sorry, guys.
It's because they're the
I'm
same
sorry.
movie.
They're the same movie, but The Force Awakens does it better. I'm sorry.
Correct.
Like tip, but I disagree with the Kylo and Rey duel. You know why? I understand Rey would win in this scenario because like Kylo is shot and all that, but I think it doesn't work well in a trilogy where like you want to hype up like your mate like that Kylo is supposed to be the antagonist in a way, right? I feel like having your protagonist take it out like they're equals so quickly in the story kind of makes them feel like less of a threat, right? Even if they are
Disagree.
damaged. Yeah, to a
Disagree.
degree. To a degree. To a degree, though. Why?
Uh,
So do
um,
you think Rey defeating Kylo is perfect?
I don't think the duel's perfect. I think it works though for the story because here's the thing: is
Mm.
Kylo isn't even really the villain. He's more the anti-hero because he is someone who he's not motivated to go blow up planets.
Yeah,
He's not motivated to go do harmful things to people that he loved. He loved
but
Lord
he is supposed to
Santeca.
stand in the way. He is supposed to stand in the way of
Yeah,
Rey at certain
but
parts.
the problem with Kylo is the thing with Kylo is he wants closure. Kylo seeks
Yeah.
closure on everything, which is why he hunted Luke. And that's why
Mm.
after he met Rey, he wanted to hunt Rey because he wanted closure with her. He wanted to join her or he wanted to kill her. And that's why I don't see Kylo as the anti-hero. He never made those calls to do anything. He didn't make the call to activate this Starkiller base. He didn't
Mm.
use the call to do anything until he was confronted with the choice and the opportunity to kill Luke. That's when he made his first huge call as leader of the First Order. He wanted every gun that they had on crate to fire at Luke, which is why I think he works as the anti-hero because when he
Yeah.
becomes angry, then he becomes the villain. But half the time, he's never in that mindset. He really only gets to that mindset when he's after Luke or Rey. And
That is true.
he was only after Rey in The Rise of Skywalker, essentially because every time he would be walked around, he was basically being held at gunpoint by Palpatine. Be like, if you don't do what I'm saying right now, I'm gonna turn my entire fleet against you. So it's sort of like he didn't want to kill Rey. That's why when
Mm.
they were in the dyad duel, that's why he didn't. You know how many times that woman just stopped fighting for no reason? That's why I think the people who say that the Rey fight doesn't make sense, it's clear that you just weren't seeing what was happening in the movie. That man was
Yeah.
probably going through every single stage of PTSD and
Yeah.
this in the mass of 10 minutes. But then we see every time Kylo and Rey fight after that, he's easily winning the fights. Had the dyad
Yeah.
duel just not stopped, he would have killed Rey. Had Leia not intervened on Kef Bir, he would have killed Rey. I mean, he was going for the killing blow, and that's why the duel in Force Awakens works. First of all, it doesn't weaken Rey, but it also doesn't make her look so overpowered. Where it's like, how's this guy gonna beat her? Oh well, he was shot. He was bleeding out of his stomach. He was probably going through like again 1,000 stages of PTSD in a mass of 10 minutes.
Wait, PTSD from what though? Like, what do you mean? Like
Killing
in
his
this case?
father. I mean, you can easily see
Oh,
that
yeah. Oh, okay.
that
Okay.
echoes
Yeah.
from
Yeah.
all the
Yeah.
way from Force Awakens to the Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker,
Yeah.
and that's ultimately the thing that redeems him.
Yeah.
Which is why I love the sequel so much. I think they have the most back end connectivity than most of the things in Star Wars. Yes, I will say they
Yeah.
did a lot of the things that they tried to do with connectivity, like Rey and her parentage, didn't work, and that
She
comes
would have
from
been
creative
better off
difference.
as a Kenobi. I'm sorry. It won't get out of
I
my head.
I I agree, but um,
I
Hey,
like nobody.
I
Ray
like
nobody.
nobody or
nobody
Kenobi.
works better than Palpatine. Palpatine, for some reason, just doesn't really work
Yeah.
well.
So that's why I think a lot of the back ending of connectivity works because Finn was saying how he had a feeling to leave the First Order. When now we know, oh, that's because he's Force sensitive, and the Force was telling him not to do it.
Mm,
We
mm.
now know that Kylo said that he wanted help from from Han, and then Han ends up being the one to redeem him. So I think
Okay.
that's where the sequels are at their brightest is that back ending connectivity that they have. Some of their front stuff didn't work, which I'll admit as a huge sequel fan, just didn't work. It wasn't formulated well. There was no overarching plan. But some of that back ending thing, I'm sorry, but like it
Can
works. It
can I
just
be
does.
can I be honest with you?
Yeah.
I used to be like a really big sequel hater, right?
Same
So
here.
I absolutely despised it, right? Like because it took me so long to realize the sequels are okay. I don't know. After I embraced the fact that they're not George Lucas Star Wars, I was able to accept, okay, there are gonna be many parts of this that just don't work because it's not made by the same people. However, the good parts of it you can still appreciate, right? Like that's what I
Absolutely.
learned from it. And I think as a fandom as a whole, we have to be better at communicating like that, Because what's it called? I find because back when I was a sequel hater, I also despised sequel fans. Now, I wasn't toxic to them, but I felt like they were the toxic ones, right? Because, okay, from the point of view of somebody who dislikes the sequels, sequel fans are the most toxic part of Star Wars, right? However, from the point of view of somebody who loves the sequels, sequel haters are the most toxic part of Star Wars, right? Now, it's one of those things because as a fandom, no people like to really just say what's on their mind, right? Like instead of like going around the bush, right? Instead of like just saying it out loud, right? Like I feel like if everyone just said why they like Star Wars, right? Most people would be on the same page.
Mhm.
Yeah, Gabe, I guess if you want to continue and finish your list, and then I could go to mine, and then we could talk about, I guess, the rumors and stuff for the television shows. So I guess go ahead and finish your list.
Okay, where was I? Oh yeah, A New Hope. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not crazy about A New Hope at all. So I've got A New Hope. Okay, next is okay. Do I have to include the series? Because they're a
Yeah,
lot
yeah,
harder to put in. They're a
Yeah.
yeah.
lot
Let's
harder to
let's
put
put
in.
them in. Let's put them in.
Okay. Okay. So I would say from A New Hope goes Empire. Then from Empire, it would be Clone Wars and Rebels, right?
Oh my
So
gosh.
Rebels is high up there, right? And then
Ugh.
from Rebels, no, this is the most controversial part of my ranking, right? It goes Attack of the Clones, Return of the
Oh,
Jedi, Revenge of the Sith, right? Bro, it is the least likable ranking somebody could have because it's so different. I put
I
The
love it
Force
though. I
Awakens
love it.
over a new. Yeah, yeah, I know you would. It's so different. It's so different because hear me out, Candy. I know you hate Attack of the Clones. I
I don't
personally
hate
think
it.
I personally think it is probably the most underrated Star Wars movie to me.
No, that
To
goes to
me.
Solo.
To me.
That goes to
To me. To
Solo.
so oh, I didn't even include spin-offs, but hey, to be honest, Solo is ranked like I don't know. I would rank Solo above like maybe the Last Jedi because it didn't really slap to me. The Darth Maul cameos,
I don't know if we can
the
have
Darth
that on Twitch.
it's
I'm gonna get TOS.
It's not a gun.
Okay. I
um
don't know.
what's it called?
It's a stick.
The Darth Maul appearance in Solo felt kind of cheap. Can I be honest, guys? Like he does nothing in it. He does nothing in it. Like it feels like they put him in it just to get people like, wow, just so that
Okay.
there would be a wow moment, you know?
Just
Um,
just for you, Gabe. I have a special clip. I'm going to play. If I
we can
can
have
let's
clips.
While you load that
Oh,
up, let's
you're
push the
you're
rest
sounding
along.
like a separatist. Tell me you're sounding like
Oh
a
no.
separatist.
all right, okay, you guys can
I'm
you
I'm
can see this, right?
I'm
Yes.
trying to theorize.
See. See.
Okay. Sand. No, no. This is good. This is good. This relates to why I think
I don't
Attack of
like
Clones is
sand.
underrated.
Don't even try to justify this marriage.
I
Well,
will
okay.
justify this
It gets
easily,
everywhere.
easily.
Not like here.
I don't know why. I don't know why,
Listen,
but hating Chris. I don't know why.
They
That's the
looking at
weirdest.
her boobs.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Let
No,
me go back.
it's
Oh,
Let
the
me go
best.
back.
oh,
It's the
no,
best.
no,
It's the best. This is good. You
the
know
clip
why? You know why
easily
this is
could.
good.
No, no, no.
You know why this is good. You know
Look.
why Anakin talking to Padme so bad, so
Look at
bad.
this.
Like he just sucks at talking to her. Is great because it's
Why is it great?
relatable. It's relatable to half of the fan base. You know how many people don't know how to talk to women?
Oh my gosh! He just went for
Wow.
all of our throats.
No,
That's not
no, no.
true.
But
It's
but
not true for
legitimately,
me.
legitimately, I like it because okay, it fits because Anakin never really probably talked to a woman romantically at that point, right? Like he most likely wasn't talking to any girls in the order. It was kind of forbidden to have any sort of attachment, right? Like yeah we know like a certain act was allowed like after
Look,
clarification, a certain act is allowed to be done by Jedi because of the High
listen.
Republic books. What's it called? There's that. But I feel like okay, Anakin sucking at talking to Padme is actually one of the reasons I like it because it just feels like whenever you're watching the original Spider-Man movies, right? And
Yes.
it's before Peter Parker gets bit.
Okay,
Mhm.
can I say
Before
this first? Can I say this first? Alex, I don't think you like Toby Maguire, do you? You're not a big Toby guy, right?
I like Toby.
Okay.
I
Oh,
I,
yeah,
per,
okay.
I prefer the Yuri Lowenthal version of
I'm
Okay,
thinking
Spider-Man,
of
but not him.
I'm
if you
thinking
said Tom Holland over Toby, we would have a
I
problem
had I had
because
a
I know you're an
conversation
MCU fan.
I had a conversation with Choco, and Choco does not like Toby Maguire's Spider-Man because he's just
What?
Seriously.
no. Choco told me he's like it's weird having Toby Maguire in high school. I'm like, okay, that's
Okay,
understandable.
okay, yeah, that makes sense. Almost everyone
Eh,
who's a high schooler in that movie is in their 20s. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
but
weird.
that was every movie in the last 30 years, man.
exactly.
They didn't start putting actual high schoolers in high school television
Or
until
get
like
people like
2
Tom
years
Holland.
ago, man.
Because that's the thing with Andrew Garfield Spider-Man. He looks too old to be a high schooler. That man's got
Bro,
a
he looks way
mustache.
too old. He looks way too old. Like, yo, I swear, Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire makes us all look like we're 12-year-olds. And I'm
Yes.
pretty sure we're all older than that, man. Like,
Wait, I gotta show this because I don't know why the actor for this specific project did this, but I'm gonna share my screen real quick again. Uh, uh, look at look at this. He literally confirmed that he's in the movie. He said
Oh
it in an
yeah.
interview.
yeah, bro, I'm
Yeah.
hyped up for Into the Spider-Verse. It looks nice.
I
It's
don't
gonna
know.
be epic. It's gonna be epic.
I don't know
Oh,
why he did that. We
my
already know
ranking. Wait, is my ranking
Toby.
which okay, is there any other questions to why I would put Attack of the Clones as number 3
Yes.
No,
on the ranking?
Yes. There's
no.
I have 1,000 for you.
Bring them on, bring them on,
How could
bring
you
them on.
dare put Empire Strikes Back that low? Look,
It, do-
I thought I got flamed
can
for having it at 4
can I be
or 5.
honest? Can I be honest? Can I be honest?
Yes, that's
Go
what we
ahead.
want.
And Empire. Okay, if you already know Anakin Skywalker is Darth Vader, it doesn't have much to offer.
But what
It doesn't
about
Okay.
have
everything
it
on
like it doesn't have
Dagobah?
it doesn't hurt, it doesn't slap as much, man, because yo,
Best.
okay, listen, every time my most watched order of Star Wars is usually chronological, right? So I've watched the movies chronologically around 10 times by now, right?
Right.
And like okay, the big shock of Empire is supposed to be like, yo, Luke was Vader's son, but when you already know that for so long, and like they keep on revealing stuff slowly about Vader throughout the movie, it's like I understand. Like if I watched this when it first came out, I would be shocked, right? But since I already have all this knowledge on hand prior into going into it, the movie itself doesn't slap as hard. Does
But
that
Attack
answer
of
your
the
question?
Clones at 3 and
Yes,
higher than
yes,
almost
yes.
every movie.
Because you want to know why I say Attack of the Clone. Like my most liked part of Attack of the Clones. Attack of the Clones is truly the birth of Darth Vader. I feel like that is when Anakin's anger first really goes and gets out of control to this extent, right?
Oh,
Like
I will say this about Attack of the Clones. It has my favorite movie detail in all of Star Wars. So if
What?
you know the scene when right before he goes to get Shmi, when he's
Mm,
walking out of the homestead, when he
mm,
walks in
mm.
front of the sun, the Darth Vader shadow gets casted behind him.
Bro,
So you can
they do that in the Clone Wars all the
yes,
time.
yeah.
They
So
do that
like
in Clone Wars all the time.
you can see his helmet and you can see his cape in his shadow.
Bro, and yo, have you guys ever heard the theme that plays when Shmi dies?
Yeah.
Like it is some horror movie stuff. Yo,
Yeah,
Hammy, can you pull up the clip like when Shmi dies?
yeah.
Perhaps,
Oh, are you
perhaps.
gonna get copyright
Oh,
claims since they do that now on Twitch?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I shouldn't be playing that. Okay, that's all right.
could you
No,
could
but I
you
will
could you
say,
could you play just the audio? Perhaps.
That would get
uh,
copyright claim.
yeah, it's copyrighted. It's music. I
Ah,
will say this. I will say this. Shmi. Uh, I wish. I don't know why they cut that. That's the best part of the movie to me when he's mowing down the sand people. That's easily my favorite part.
yeah,
I don't know
like
why.
okay, like it feels so
It's a weird.
epic because okay, when you hear it, okay, the theme that plays when Shmi dies, it truly it communicates the anger that is going through Anakin's
and
head,
then
right?
and then
Like
this
if
and then the scene. I don't mean to cut you off, but then the scene right
yeah,
after, I'm immediately disengaged with the movie because he sounds like a whiny kid. He's
Yeah,
like,
he sounds
I
like he's
killed them all.
complaining. Yeah, he
I
sounds like he's
killed them all.
complaining about it. He sounds like he's
no, like
complaining about something that he did.
I
no,
killed them
no,
all.
but
Not
again,
just
it
the
makes
men,
sense. It makes
but
sense.
the women and children too.
It makes sense though because okay, here's the thing. Anakin, he was an only child, right? He grew up a slave. He probably could have died like over 50 times, right, as a kid, right? But his mother was always there supporting him, right? She raised him. She took care of him ever since he was born. There was nobody around for them, right? Phantom Menace suggests highly that some point along them being slaves, they were getting beat. Like they make it very obvious. Plus, like the PTSD flashbacks Anakin gets, like while looking at like whips during the
Yeah.
Zygerian arc, right? Like it's screwed up. Like it really communicates Anakin had a screwed up past, but his mother was always there helping him, right? Then his
I'm
mother
sorry.
then his mother gets
Why are you
then his
laughing,
mother gets
Alex? What are you
then his mother
doing?
gets taken away, right? His mother gets
What are you
taken
doing?
away, and he kills a bunch of people, right? Then like yo,
Yeah.
it makes sense the way how he says it to Padme because he sounds so confused in the moment, right? Because the dark side, okay, most likely, his anger did take him over, right? So he was
Right.
drunken in his own power, in the power of the dark side. So then after, like, he literally collapses on the floor, saying to himself, "I don't even know what I've become at this point, basically." Like
But,
like this was not the person who he thought he was,
yeah. Okay,
right?
so I'm laughing because you brought up the Zygerian arc. It has one of the greatest Anakin faces right when he crumbles up
I know.
the calm thing, the
I
the like
love Clone
constipated
Wars.
look he
Clone Wars
has.
is so great. I love Clone Wars. Hey,
Okay.
fun fact for you.
Yeah.
The Rebels was actually, um, it was the concept of the Rebels TV show and storyline
Right.
actually was created when George Lucas and Dave Filoni were like spitballing ideas for the Clone Wars. So it was an idea in fruition ever since like 2000 and maybe like seven.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
guess
pretty
it's
cool.
time. I guess it's time for the host. My list. So,
Yes.
it,
I felt so bad cutting you off. Yeah.
no, you're good. You're good. Last place. The Rise of Skywalker. The only thing I like about this movie is Kylo and Rey. Probably the only thing I really love about the sequels is the dyad. I love the dyad.
Yeah, the
I think
dyad
it's
was cool.
the dyad's really cool. 13th, I have Attack of the Clones. The only thing I like in that movie is Anakin and the Sand People stuff, and they cut that scene way too early.
Yep.
I do
Yeah.
like Obi-Wan. I feel like it's more of an Obi-Wan movie. I really like Ewan, but Ewan has some weird, really weird lines. I mean, he was just the one-liner of the prequels, which I didn't love.
Dooku was
But
cool in that movie though.
yeah, at 12, I have the Phantom Menace. Not great. The fight saves it at the end. Qui-Gon's great. Liam Neeson was awesome. Kills it. Uh, probably. Oh, this is tough. Uh, I want to say, yeah, the Last Jedi.
Sinner.
Not a big fan of a lot of the movie. I love the dyad. The dyad's really introduced heavily in this movie. I will say this: The Last Jedi is probably the prettiest Star Wars movie. It's the best. It's
Yeah,
really
yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. I
I will.
agree with
I
that.
will say this: the first time I asked you about your rankings, The Last Jedi has gone up a few places, so
It
I'm okay
has.
with that. I'm okay
It
with
has.
that.
You're not gonna like where this is. Rebels is at 10. It's just I've got to
Ooh,
the first.
that's hot.
I've got
That's hot.
I've gone through the first two seasons. I never really fell in love with the characters, but I'm starting to like it more. I
That's
definitely
okay.
like.
That's okay. He hasn't gotten to Twin Suns yet. That's why.
Oh, he
He
hasn't
hasn't
gotten
gotten
to
to Twin
Trials of the
Suns
Dark
yet. He
Saber
hasn't gotten
yet.
to Twin Suns.
I definitely like the character of Ezra a lot, and I especially love
Yes.
Kanan. Especially love Kanan and Hera too. Hera's one of my. I'm excited if she's the lead of Rangers of the New Republic. I'm gonna love that show. I
It
think.
should be Iden Versio, not her.
Okay, it's a fair take. Probably at 9. Ooh, this is tough. S- The Force Awakens.
Yeah.
Uh, it's not it's not a bad movie. It's gone down because I think it's kind of generic. I don't know why. It's good. It's solid. It's not a bad movie.
Average
I think
movie.
there were only 3 bad movies. The Rise of Skywalker, like 3 movies. I probably like if they're on TV. I I may take my eye off them because I don't care. So the Rise of Skywalker, Attack of the Clones, and Phantom Menace, I don't really care for. The
Mm,
Last Jedi,
mm,
Force Awakens, and then next, I guess after Force Awakens at 9 would be 8 Solo. I love this film a lot. It actually goes up my list every time I watch it. I think
mm.
Donald Glover
That's
is
interesting.
great. Is
100%.
great
That is
as
very true.
Lando.
That
I
is
I
very
I
true.
am really excited for Lando, the show. It's really nobody's talking about it on TikTok, but I think it
I
has
know.
the most. I think it has a lot of it could be basically Solo too. It could deal a lot with Kira and Maul. Uh,
Good.
at number where am I at? Number 7. Hmm, number 7.
Resistance.
No. All right, I just got to
No,
think of my top 3.
No, wait. Can I take back my number one? My number
Yeah, go
one
ahead.
is Star Wars Detours.
Okay, Detours.
Yeah,
No,
yeah.
I
Star
know
Wars
your
Detours.
favorite.
Star Wars
It's the
Detours.
holiday
It's the best.
special.
Which
Uh,
one?
Both.
I didn't watch the new one. Is it any good?
Oh, it was good.
I want
I
I,
liked
I,
it.
I, I want to talk smack about it just to get somebody triggered for fun. Even
number
if I love it, I want to love it so I can lie about loving it.
number 7 is gonna be Rogue One. I think it has one of the stronger third acts for a Star Wars movie. The first and second act are a little slow, but I like the characters a lot. I like how it's a darker movie. I like the Empire. Everything with the Empire is great with Krennic and Tarkin. So I really like that aspect of the movie. Number 6, um, probably The Mandalorian. I want to have it higher. The Mandalorian is one of the big reasons I got back into Star Wars, so it has a
Same, same.
special place in my heart. Din's one of my favorite characters, but I'm gonna have a hard time putting it over the other shows. Number 5, I have Revenge of the Sith. Love this film. So I have a lot of problems with it, but it has some of
Yeah,
the best
yeah.
moments. I think it has probably the most best moments, but it also has a lot of bad moments. I think.
Mm.
Um, Number 4, I have A New Hope. I really do. I think it's one of the
Oh
better
no, I
paced.
feel bad. I feel bad for ranking
I
A New
have one
Hope
of the
so
better.
low, man.
It's one of the better paced. I think films. I think it still has the best star fight. The
Very
trench run.
slow movie.
The trench run is great. The trench run still holds up. That's one of the aspects that still holds up.
Yeah.
Vader is great. Um, I love Han and Leia in that movie. Uh, I think I really don't see much of any flaws. The canteen is awesome. I don't know. I don't have many gripes with this movie at all.
Just the first slow
No,
2 acts.
I disagree. I think it all
Wait,
flows really well together.
what movie again? A New Hope?
Yeah.
Yeah, 4.
A New Hope, it's good. It's good. But I mean, like, the thing about it is they couldn't go like extreme with any elements, I find, because
Mhm.
it was the first Star Wars movie. Like they couldn't take like the kind of risks they end up taking on later on, I feel.
Yeah, and it's really interesting how it's low on a lot of my friends I've made on the apps list. I'm always like, wow, that's crazy. Okay, so I guess number 3 is Return of the Jedi. Best third act. It's probably the best moment in Star Wars, the Vader and Luke fight. I will complain. I will always complain about the Jabba stuff. The Jabba stuff is the play. Luke's plan. Don't know what he was doing. Um, the
Facts.
Ewoks are cool.
I have
The
no
Ewoks are
idea.
cool. I don't know why people hate the Ewoks. Wicked's always been cool to me. I always laugh. One of my favorite moments is when the Ewok is on the speeder and he's like flipping over and he's laughing. I like them. I've always liked them.
Man, me and you like very different things with the Ewoks. My favorite scene is the Ewok when the 2 Ewoks get shot and the one gets up and goes
Oh
to his
no.
friend and he's
No.
like, "Oh
Guys,
no!"
guys, are we really talking about how great Return of the Jedi is, and we're appreciating it without even bringing up the fact that Harrison Dula and Rex are technically in that movie?
Yeah.
That is
Yeah,
true.
I
So
mean, like, we
Well,
technically see
I have a
Rex
question. I
in
have a
it.
question. So
yeah.
is the rebel trooper we see with the gray beard Rex? They never confirmed
So,
that was him, correct?
so it was thought for a long time and implied that it was. So he was on Endor, but he wasn't that trooper that we see with Han.
He
They
wasn't. They confirmed it
no
wasn't.
no. So they like to switch the story around a lot because the
Okay.
concept art for Rebels Rex for season 4 had his Endor outfit. So everyone was just like, "Oh, so that's him." But then no, he got confirmed. That got confirmed to be some other guy. But Rex was on Endor, just with a different team
Yeah,
somewhere else.
yeah.
Yeah.
I,
Hera got confirmed to be in space. She might have been one of the X-wings, or maybe it's one of those things that probably like the ghost was there. We just never got to see it.
Yeah.
yeah.
So,
And then number 2, I have the Clone Wars. Got me into Star Wars. Some of the best stuff. Made Anakin my favorite character. A lot of stuff I appreciate. The Siege of Mandalore. Second best thing in Star Wars. I mean, come on. That's that time to be a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
mhm.
I will
Bro,
still.
guys, we're so lucky to be Star Wars fans at the time like we are
Oh
at
yeah,
right
Yeah.
now.
I still will never
Like this
forget.
is
Yeah.
insane.
yep.
I still will never forget waking up on May the 4th, and I'm like, I still vividly remember as a child watching the first episode with Yoda and the 3 clones, and I'm like, wow, I'm here from beginning to the end, and it was just really special, and it was obviously a heartbreaking episode.
Yeah.
So I bawled my eyes out for probably like three weeks with that show, but
I cannot believe your favorite character is the racist.
Well,
well,
he's
Not
mine
believe
too.
it.
He's mine too. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
How is
Listen,
the
hey,
racist your favorite?
no,
I'm not a
listen. Can I say
toxic
this?
prequel fan though.
Can I
So
say
Mhm.
this? So you know how I went on Choco's podcast, right?
Yeah.
yeah,
So I was on his podcast like a week ago, and one of the creators that was on it had a series of videos about problems with Anakin fans. And it was like the day before I was going on, I was gonna make a response video to that creator, but then I realized that that creator was on the podcast. I'm like, oh, I can't do this because this is gonna be
Yucky
really
yuck.
awkward. It's gonna be really awkward. Because listen, I've told you this, Alex. This creator is probably one of my least favorite on the. I think he does a lot more bad than good.
Yeah.
Just gonna say it.
oh,
Just gonna say it. I don't like this. Listen,
oh.
he likes me. That's cool. I'm just not a huge fan of his content, and that's a whole nother. I'm not gonna go any further. I'm gonna get in trouble.
My insecurities are like screaming. he's talking about you.
No,
Yeah,
no.
I'm honestly thinking like, is he talking about me?
Yeah,
No.
like
Yeah,
wait,
good.
was he? Oh no, wait, what did I say about Anakin in the last few days?
Yeah.
Nah, Alex is my favorite Star Wars creator. I have to say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
No,
I'm my least favorite, so
I'm joking. It's Choco, but okay. Number one, I have Empire. I have Empire Strikes Back. Oh, sorry, I can't say that. I have Empire. Best all around film. One of the best films in cinema to this day.
which
And
movie?
yeah,
Sorry,
Empire.
I was busy getting my feelings crushed.
Oh no!
Sorry,
Oh
you're
no! Oh no! You ranked Empire at number 1.
yeah.
Wait, and I ranked it at what, like
I'm a
6?
true Star. I'm a true Star Wars fan. No, I'm joking. I'm joking.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. I'm a
Love
bad
that.
Star Wars fan, guys. I'm sorry.
Hold on,
I'm
I'm
sorry.
I'm
trying
also
to.
I also am a huge Darth Revan fan, so you obviously know I love Star Wars. No, I'm joking.
I'm in all honesty though, I'm playing Kotar as we speak.
Oh,
I'm on my first
that's
Kotar run.
so good. I
Listen,
love.
I
if you're
know.
watching
I know.
if you're
I
watching
know.
this, I just want to say you're a valid fan no matter how much of Star Wars you've watched. Just want
Facts,
to say
bro.
that, get that out there.
I feel
And
like we could all get along so well as a community.
we have. And I think actually me and Alex, the way we became friends was because of a disagreement actually. Like he
Mm,
Correct.
mm.
and I think a lot of the people I've talked to, Choco and I disagree on a lot of things and we're like
Yeah,
really good. Why
yeah.
is this candy guy? Here we go. We got a chat.
Yeah.
We got a
Yeah.
chat.
Hey,
I don't.
Got my own
hey.
fan, and it's me.
His genetics.
Genetics. Yes.
Jeez.
I'm my own fan.
Why? I also got a chat from this creator right here.
Yeah.
He asked, why is Hammy so hot? I don't know. I don't know. I don't have a girlfriend, so I don't know why. Okay. Crate do be sexy too. He is good looking. He's got the flow.
Hey, well, I have one thing, guys. I have one thing you do not see in most Star Wars creators.
Okay.
I have curly hair. It
He
just
has
makes
curly
me
hair.
genetically. I'm just genetically superior. I'm sorry.
I don't know if you could say that. That's probably
Oh yeah,
TOS.
that
I
was
don't know if
probably
you.
really bad to say. But
That's
bro, nobody else has curly hair. What's it called? No other Star Wars creator has curly hair. Maybe Theory does. Maybe Theory does.
yeah. Theory definitely has curly hair.
Yeah, I have
Got
a
a
feeling.
holocron.
I said
Candy.
Wayfinder is superior.
Yo, Candy. Do you think Star Wars Theory has curly hair? Like, if he found a way to grow it out, would it be curly?
Theory? Star Wars
Curly,
theory.
curly,
Okay.
curly.
Okay.
Star Wars
Sorry, I wasn't
Theory.
here.
Would he have curly hair if he grew it out?
He has hair.
No, if
No,
you grew
but
it out.
we're saying if he
Oh.
did have, if he did have, off of speculation.
No. I think he'd have straight hair.
Listen.
I would
When
want
me
it to be super curly as a joke.
me and Choco actually had a conversation about theory a couple of weeks ago, and I looked over in the chat and you said theory is just as bad as Mike Zero or something along those lines. And I was like, I need you to
Really?
I need you to kind of elaborate on that take because I disagree heavily with that.
Yeah,
So
me too, me too.
kind of elaborate on that take a little bit, Alex.
Oh, what?
You called.
I-
You said
Oh, I thought you were talking to him. I was like, I don't remember.
no,
saying that.
no. You called in my chat. I don't know if you
Okay.
said it as a joke, but you said it.
So I will say this: Theory has gained a lot of respect back from me, and that's after his podcast with Dark Choco. Oh, what I will say, a lot of people are posting the clips from that, and it's making Choco look really bad. So basically, what they're doing is they're posting a certain clip where Theory talks over him, and it makes Choco look stupid, and it makes Theory look super smart. It's just like, look. You can't show. That's why I don't like showing clips of podcasts because it's like, dude, what's the content? What is the context?
Yeah,
to this?
it's a 2 hour long conversation. You can't just
you can't
take
show a
5
minute
seconds
of it.
out of it.
And so, when I said that is pre their little talk, and it was purely because what good does Mike Zero contribute to the community?
None.
Nothing. But I think Theory's done a lot more positive than
Yeah,
negative.
bro.
Would you agree on
He's
that?
done a
I
lot of
have
positive, not
I
only
will
for the
say
community
that,
but for
but
other people.
yeah, and I will say that, but I will also say he also hasn't been very respectful towards Star Wars, let alone its fans. I mean,
I disagree.
Do we
How?
have to go into the conversation
How?
about his release the Lucas cut and
I
the
don't think- I
controversy
don't
It's
think-
that
completely
brought?
valid though. It's completely valid
I
though,
think it's
man.
asking for
George-
something.
George-
I think it's
bro,
I don't think it's
George
valid
Lucas
in
got
the.
story treatments, and they look interesting. They look
Okay, so
interesting. It would be fun as like a
this
what-if
is why
comic.
I don't like that. It's
Why?
because it's number one, it's super distasteful to Zack Snyder. The release
Okay.
Snyder cut was a thing from fans because they wanted to see his
Yeah.
vision after what had happened in his
Yeah.
life at his time with his daughter's
Uh-huh.
suicide. And if you were
Right.
going to throw that on a man who very intentionally sold Star Wars because of the fans, and you're going to try to essentially mask up Snyder with Lucas, it feels distasteful because it's like, dude, you're missing the point of why the fans wanted the Snyder cut because they wanted his vision to be complete. Lucas didn't want his vision to be complete.
I
because
understand,
he's
but
I see
so-
what you're talking about.
I don't think that's Theory's intent, and I definitely don't think that's how most people interpret it.
Well, that's how I interpreted it, and I interpreted that tweet as very distasteful. And then he had the nerve to say about fans saying how distasteful that was. He had the nerve to say that they were crying about his tweet when it's like, dude.
Well, they were.
Yeah.
No, it's like, dude, you're not understanding completely to why people find that as distasteful. Zack Snyder, again, he had to go through a very hard time in 2017.
He did.
2016.
Yeah, it was awful.
With his daughter's suicide. It's like you can't mask that with release the Lucas cut. Their circumstances of their projects being cut are so different.
Yeah,
Lucas cut his project because he didn't want to deal with the fans anymore. Zack Snyder cut his project because he needed that mental space after that very traumatic experience. And for Theory to kind of shit on it kind of upset me.
Candy. I respect your opinion, and I really like the energy you're coming in with, like seeing stuff from like Zack Snyder point of view, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, I just feel like okay, it wasn't his intent at all to like really like use the whole like Zack Snyder thing, like okay, I don't feel like Theory saying release the George Lucas sequel trilogy, right? Isn't supposed to be taking away any less from Zack Snyder's, Justice League. I watched Zack Snyder's Justice League. I agree that it being for his daughter adds like a very what's it called, like a lot more emotion to that movie, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like the Snyder cut just proves how like seeing an alternate vision of a story could really just change how the public views the story itself, right? Everyone before hated the Joss Whedon Justice League movie. However, how many people loved the Snyder cut, right? I watched it for the 4 hours straight. It felt like 20 minutes to me because of how in depth I was the whole time. Now, when you have something like the sequel trilogy that made so many people angry to the point of like, bro, there was and is a lot of people that have boycotted Disney because of how they handled Star Wars, and the fact that somebody wants to see what the original intent was. I think that's just a cause many people can get behind, right?
Well, and it's again, like, I understand Theory, and many people, I myself, I want to see his vision, but
Yeah.
after the Snyder Cut had seen its success, I think the timing of that post was in super poor taste because now it's
I see what you're saying.
It's a sense of like, I understand because I agree. I would want to see what George had in mind, too. I like the ideas that he had with the prequels. I don't think they were executed properly. But I would want to see, because some of his things sound very interesting. Yes,
Yeah,
some
like
of the
epic,
things,
epic.
some of the things that he did right did end up happening. Luke being a hermit, a female Jedi coming to see him to be trained, all that happened. But I would also want to see what he had in mind with Darth Talon, Darth Maul, all of that. But I
Candy.
think, yeah,
Can, can,
I
can I can I bring
oh
this
yeah,
up, man? Because okay, when you were talking about it, you brought up the whole thing about like George Lucas selling to get away from the fans, right? I think that's partly true, but like we have to keep in mind Clone Wars, like '08 Clone Wars, because if it wasn't for that TV show, George Lucas probably would have never sold, because Lucasfilm went
hard
in.
disagree.
No, no.
You
See,
know
here's the
that
theory. Here's the thing.
That TV
That
show lost a lot of money.
Yeah,
They
it
they
lost
spent
a
a lot of
lot of
money. They didn't
money.
make any
They spent
money off
they
of
didn't
that.
make a lot of stuff off of it at all.
Yeah,
Like, bro, Clone Wars made them lose so much money. George Lucas said like he like one of the main reasons he sold to Disney was to save people's jobs, because it was
yeah,
between him selling or them like getting like basically like they wouldn't be able to live. And then it kind of took a left turn when Lucasfilm got sold to Disney. What ended up happening is a lot of people who originally worked for George kind of got fired and replaced with like Disney's people, right?
yeah.
So it's a little bit like, I don't know. We have to see both, like the two sides of each coin, right?
Yeah,
Like
and
like the fandom and the numbers,
yeah.
you know?
And that's the thing also is like, again, I respect Star Wars theory. I respect what he's done. I mean, come on,
Yeah.
if you're trying to say that that man doesn't have any good content, that Vader fan film could literally
Yo, that
blow anyone off.
I can't wait until the second one. I can't wait
Yeah.
until the
Yeah.
second one.
And
It's gonna
so
be epic.
my whole thing is with him is it felt like a tweet out of poor taste and out of very, very poor timing. Because again,
Yeah.
the weight behind hashtag release the Snyder cut, there's so much emotional weight because of what happened with Zack Snyder's daughter.
Well,
There is no emotional weight behind release the Lucas cut, because George made the decision to sell it. Zack Snyder did not make the decision essentially to step away from mental health problems. He had to
Yeah,
do
he
it.
got he got. Okay, I see what you're saying. Like, okay, it's kind of like because Zack Snyder's story got kind of like taken away from him in a way
Yeah.
when he left. But see, the thing is this: many fans feel the same way about the George Lucas sequels, right? Now, I can kind of like give you like these fans like point of view and all of that, because keep in mind I was like a sequel up until like a month ago. I was like a humongous sequel hater who wanted the like alternate timeline thing to be right, but like now I'm more educated. So I think, see, here's the thing. Many fans feel like the original sequel trilogy kind of got torn away from them, right? Because when we find out things like story treatments for 7, 8, and 9 were given to Disney and they chose not to use majority of them and take only aspects for some of the movies, it feels like people aren't getting like the official product, you know? Like it feels like they're getting like the side product for
Well,
some of them.
and it's also to remember that was George's decision. He thought
Yeah,
that
yeah,
would that would be
it
best.
was
And
100%.
if George, because there's all these articles and all that of saying George felt betrayed. George has never said he felt betrayed. He loved The Force Awakens. He said how much he loved The Last Jedi. There was no official word of him from The Rise of Skywalker, but if you're trying to say that George didn't like the sequels, George wasn't happy, that's wrong. Because even if he didn't, let's say he didn't give us a public, nice word about The Rise of Skywalker, that's still 2 out of 3 films that he said he really liked and he enjoyed and he was happy with. And it's like, and I think he probably liked The Last Jedi more than The Force Awakens, solely for the fact that his script was mostly used. And it's
Well,
mostly the storyline with
Was
Luke.
it?
Well, yeah,
here's the problem.
I
the
didn't know.
storyline with
Listen,
Luke was mostly used.
Listen, here's the problem I have with that. So basically on TikTok, I was one of the only people who defended him. One of the only people who defended him. I got a lot of heat. I got a lot of heat for it. And
Bro, I want all the heat. I want heat just for views.
No, I don't agree with like that's why I didn't go on Theory's thing and tell him you should die or you're not a Star Wars fan. It's like, dude, I just don't agree with the tweet. I don't agree
right, but here's
I agree. I think it was just in poor taste and poor timing.
Here's the thing. The problem I had. I think Theory makes his content out of the love of Star Wars. I think Josh from the Den of Nerds, who he does his podcast with, great guy, said it perfectly. Theory is one of the only Star Wars channels that makes his content based off his love for Star Wars. Geeks and Gamers, it's a agenda. Even Star Wars Explained to a degree. I'm not a huge fan of Star Wars Explained. I think I don't like him. That's all I'm gonna say.
Whoa! We want the team. What's wrong with him?
Can I be honest with you?
I will say, just to creators I watch, or not even creators I watch necessarily, but I'm not a big fan of the way he interacts with fans, from what I've heard. Not a big fan of the way he interacts with other creators. I just think he's Star Wars Explained.
I haven't heard anything bad about him.
Yeah, I've heard bad stuff about Explain, and what was the other one? Star Wars Only. Star Wars Only was kind of like the worst one I heard. But guys, can I be honest with you? I was checking out Geeks and Gamers, right? I was checking them out, like very, 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 like, like pessimistically, right? And I was impressed by how progressive they were. Like, their team is a lot more progressive than I was expecting. Like, okay, so there's like 10 members of the Geeks and Gamers team. Only 3 of them are cisgendered white men. Yep. The others are like minorities or members of the LGBTQ community and like stuff like that, and they all have like really balanced opinions and they all really like get along with each other, and like I was expecting something completely else. Like I thought they were gonna be a lot more hateful.
I guess I'll go first. Go first. Go first. Yeah.
The problem with Geeks and Gamers is they're just like Mike Zero. They spread so much terrible information, so much toxicity. I mean, come on. They have used Kathleen Kennedy in their titles probably thousands of times.
A lot of Star Wars channels, I would have to say, kind of milk the Kathleen Kennedy thing for views, and like, could you really blame them, honestly? Like, when like every Kennedy video gets clicked on in like 40 seconds. It's just easy stuff for them.
Well, that's the thing is like I can blame them because it's like, are you talking about Star Wars because you're a fan, like Theory,
or because they're shallow,
or are you talking about Star Wars because you want money?
Yeah,
exactly. Because for that instance, I could easily go and make thousands of videos about a bunch of no confirmed rumors about Kathleen Kennedy or Kevin Feige or John Favreau or Dave Filoni. My source is very valid. And it's like, dude,
I assure you.
It's like, I don't call people fake fans because I don't think that term should be thrown around. I call Mike Zero and people like Geeks and Gamers fake fans because they're not talking about Star Wars because they love it. They're not talking about Marvel because they love it. They're talking about it because it's a job that they make money off of.
I will say this. I think Mike Zero is satire. I 100% think he's satire.
I do too.
I enjoy it from a satire point of view. I enjoy watching it.
Satire. I think it's 100% satire.
And that's the thing is, what's sad about it? You can go into the comments and look. You can go to one of the 1,000 videos of Kathleen Kennedy being fired, and people believe it. It's so sad.
Listen, Brie Larson. Brie Larson has worked at Lucasfilm 5 or 6 times and has been fired 5 or 6 times.
Exactly.
Now, mind you.
Seriously?
No, Mike Zero says this. Now, mind you, Brie Larson has never stepped foot in the Lucasfilm office. Never.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Not once.
But did you hear about the Jedi that she's going to be that's more powerful than Luke and Vader combined?
Dude, somebody made a video about that on TikTok. I actually
I have
talked
some
to the creator.
information I'm surprised none of us are bringing up.
I talked to the creator. I said,
Uh-oh.
please take this video down. As somebody, I post a lot of leaks and rumors. I said, please take this down. This doesn't help me. This doesn't help somebody like me who tries to post reliable stuff
Yeah,
from reliable
reliable
leakers.
sources and stuff.
And I said, please take this down. It's false. He's like, why would I take it down? I'm like, it's literally not true. There's no,
Yeah,
at
you're
least,
spreading
listen,
lies.
I said, if you're going to make a video like that, say your source. Like I say my source or I have my source in my video. That way, if somebody doesn't believe it, they don't have to. You didn't
Right.
even say the
Mm.
source. If you said Mike Zero, I would have turned the video off right away. I feel
Mm.
bad for the person who believes that now. It's
Oh
like,
yeah, the thing with Star Wars fans is such people like Brie Larson, not employed by Lucasfilm, no relation to Lucasfilm. It's stuff like that, like people like John Boyega, Daisy Ridley. They're not employed by Lucasfilm or Disney anymore. They don't have contracts with them. They're done. They fulfilled their movie projects.
Yeah.
It's like you can still make a video. You can just talk. You could just mention Rey in a video. You're gonna get 1,000 views and 500 comments about Rey sucks. Rey's not a Skywalker. It's like, dude, the movies have been out for years.
Hey,
Grow up.
want to hear my most toxic but least toxic opinion of Rey?
go ahead.
Oh boy.
Rey is a Skywalker, but we cannot forget her Palpatine lineage.
Correct.
Right. That's my
Her
take.
Palpatine
Okay.
lineage should not be forgotten at all, ever. But her
Right.
Skywalker, she should be accepted as a Skywalker just as much as we accept she is a Palpatine.
Yep.
That would work perfectly.
I still okay. I guess we could kind of segue now into the final topic. I guess we could talk about the leaks from the past week. I kind of want to talk about the Book of Boba Fett. Not a lot is known about this project, but we do
hyped.
have. I am very excited. Tamora Morrison is great, so I'm glad he's playing Boba. So we have this leak that Din himself, Din Djarin, will make an appearance in the Book of Boba Fett, and I reported on TikTok that it will be a small cameo, very similar to Nick Fury at the end of the Iron Man movie, where he recruits Tony Stark. So my theory is that the Book of Boba Fett takes place between season 2 of Mando and season 3. And at the end of Book of Boba Fett, Din goes to Boba to help with the stuff that's going on Mandalore. So I think Boba, because it was also heavily rumored, Boba plays a big role in Mando season 3. So I think Book of Boba is going to tie beautifully right into season 3 of Mando. So I guess you two, we'll start with Alex, my co-host. What do you think about Din in the Book of Boba Fett? And what is your theory on his role?
I think it's going to be the exact same Nick Fury role. Just like he won't make an appearance throughout, maybe like a mention or two, like only probably a name. But I think it's going to be that. I think it's going to be an end credit scene for the last episode of the Book of Boba Fett, and it's going to be Din recruiting him, going to Mandalore. And I also think, not to try to get us off so far off topic, I think that's also what's going to happen at the final episode of Rangers of the New Republic, and I think that's also going to happen at the end of Ahsoka. All three of those shows having that same end credit. Like for Ahsoka, it could be I found that Jedi you're after, he's on Mandalore. It could be going to Hera or Iden or Shriv or whoever and saying, hey, I found Thrawn, he's on Mandalore. Then going to Boba Fett and Fennec and saying, I have found, my people are planning to retake our planet. You wear our armor. We would like you to come and help us retake the planet. So I don't think it's going to be something big as like he's going to show up in an episode and be a major player. I think it's just going to be just that. I think it's just going to be him recruiting Boba and Fennec and whoever else they have. I bet we'll meet new people that'll join the Fennec and Boba crew. And it's going to be him rounding up the troops to go fight on Mandalore.
And Gabe, what are your thoughts on Din's role, maybe in the Book of Boba?
Honestly, Alex said everything that needed to be said. Um, Din Djarin, like I feel like he's gonna play very well, right? Like as that little like Nick Fury, as he was trying to say. Like I feel like what's gonna end up happening is we're gonna get like so many different hints to what's going on Mandalore. Like, is it kind of like a humongous war right now? Is there like something weird going on? And I feel like they might like tease that, right? Until we get to Mando 3. So that way we'll all be like hyped up for Mando 3 when we finally get to see like the remnants of like the great planet of Mandalore after something like the Empire hit it as hard as it did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely 100% agree with that. I guess the next thing we can go and talk about is Ahsoka. So we kind of have a description now on a rumored description of what that show is going to be about, and it's not surprising. Here it is. It's on the screen. So as it says here, guys, Daniel RPK, who reports a lot of stuff for Marvel, has said that Ahsoka, this is the description, Ahsoka Tano was on the hunt for evil Grand Admiral Thrawn in the hope it will help her locate the missing Ezra Bridger, the young Jedi that disappeared with Thrawn many years ago. So I guess my take on this is not surprised. Um, I think by the end of the show, we're going to find out Ezra is bad. Ezra and Ahsoka are going to fight, and then she's going to lose Ezra. And Ezra and Thrawn are going to go away, probably to Mandalore, maybe, or something like that. Uh, so that's what I think is going to happen. Alex, what do you think is going to happen in the Ahsoka show?
So I think as much as I don't like it, I think it's also going to probably be that probably a fallen Ezra will fight Ahsoka, and I think they're also in the since I think it's a series finale. I think they're going to have their duel. I think it's going to kind of have like a Rey versus Kylo in Force Awakens, where there's a winner, but there's not really a loser because both survive the fight. And I think it's going to be that, and I think Ahsoka will probably get like knocked out or something, and Thrawn and Ezra will walk away, kind of talking about their plan to return to Mandalore and finish what they're doing on there, and then I think I'm going to probably alter what I said about Book of Boba Fett and what Din's going to do is that Nick Fury role. I think Ahsoka's going to call Din with some information about Thrawn and Ezra and say that Grand Admiral Thrawn and his second in command is heading to Mandalore now. And then I think that's good. I think that's what's going to send off Din rounding up the troops. Because what I think season 3 of Mandalorian is going to be, even though I think it should be a movie, I think season 3 should open up with a failed attempt at Mandalore. Din goes in with the few people that he has, Casca, Axe, Bo, but there's going to be that tension of like Bo and Din because of the Darksaber. And so I think what's going to happen is they're going to get decimated and then they're going to have to leave Mandalore. But then I think Ahsoka is going to come in because if you know how the first phase of the MCU works, from Iron Man 2 to Thor to Incredible Hulk to Captain America, the First Avenger, those are called Fury's Big Week. That's when he recruits all of the Avengers to the cause. I think that's what's going to happen is I think the shows are going to kind of interweave, kind of like how Resistance does with Force Awakens and Last Jedi, how it takes place during the events, just like Clone Wars Season 7, Siege of Mandalore, and Revenge of the Sith, how they take place during the same time. And again, another comparison is Ant-Man and the Wasp and Infinity War. Those take place at the same time. And I think what's going to happen is Ahsoka's series finale is going to be getting Din the information of who's going to be there and when they're going, and then going off to round up the troops for Mandalore. And I think season or series finale of Mando, season 3, is going to be the Rangers of the New Republic the cast of Book of Boba Fett, the cast of Ahsoka, the cast of the Mandalorian. So of course, all the Mandalorians and all that. I think it's also probably going to have like the surviving Mandalorians from man, what are they called? The Watch.
Children of the Watch.
Yeah, so they're gonna have like the armorer and all that, which I also don't think it's gonna be the armorer. What I would have is armorer end up being a bad guy or a bad girl, whatever. But get the remaining, because there is one Mandalorian from that group from the first season whose helmet and armor was not seen in that pile at the end of episode 8, and that was Paz Vizsla. He wasn't there. So his helmet and his armor wasn't on the floor. So potentially he could show up and it could be a big battle. But that's what I think Ahsoka is going to be. I think it should end with Ezra and Ahsoka having a big fight and giving the information that Din needs. Her calling Din, probably catching up on Grogu, making sure he's not falling to the dark side. And basically that's how that ends, and it leads into the other shows. And that's because, again, it's weird because it's been said that those 4 TV shows are linked together somehow. But it's hard for me to imagine how Ahsoka and Book of Boba Fett and Rangers are connected. I understand her connection with The Mandalorian because the Jedi episode. And I understand Din's connection with everyone. But how is Ahsoka connected to all of this?
So before you go, from what has been rumored, so Kessel Run Transmissions, the guys over there they broke the story about the Bad Batch last year. They had the scoop for the Rebels sequel, which is now the Ahsoka show. So they're very credible and reliable. They hinted at the fact that Ezra and Thrawn are going to get their own show. So I'm really thinking that they're going to build out this universe. I don't think the big event is going to happen just yet. I really think they're setting that up for a movie. It's going to be like Endgame, but with this era of Star Wars. So
this is like a canon version of Heir to the Empire.
Yes, I think it's going to be 6 shows. It's going to be 6 shows. A Luke Skywalker show, a Ezra and Thrawn, Ahsoka looking for Ezra and Thrawn, a Mando, Book of Boba, and Rangers, and they're all going to connect, and it's going to be an endgame level event. Right now, I like to think of this as phase 1 of Marvel. We're just putting the groundwork down.
The only problem that I have with that idea is Dave and John, they like to keep continuity up with the books and the comics. The problem that I could see is by this time, if they were to say this is phase 1 and we're going to have phase 3 be the big endgame level movie, is by that time, if we're doing a big time jump, because so Mando takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. By this time, the Battle of Jakku has happened. And by this time, the New Republic has been 90% military defunded. So that's where I think the big complication could be. And plus, the New Republic doesn't see these remnants as big threats. So I think what's probably going to happen is a kind of like Team Cap, what happened in Infinity War. Kind of have an Iden-led group of have her kind of disobey the New Republic. I think she's Chancellor at this point. She still might be Senator, but Chancellor or Senator Mothma, kind of tell her look, you're not taking this seriously. This is Grand Admiral Thrawn we're talking about. This isn't some Moff Gideon or Agent Kallus when he was on the Empire. This is a huge he's 3rd in command of the Empire. So I feel she's gonna have that kind of moment that Cap and Ross had in Infinity War. If you want to fight us too, we'll fight you too. If it comes to that.
How do you think Luke Skywalker is gonna fit into the whole new Heir to the Empire? How do you think? Imagine if we get to see Mina Masud, Ezra versus whatever form of Luke we have, right?
I think
something epic. It would be fun.
This is what I want. Ahsoka sacrifices her life for Luke, and Luke kills Ezra.
It's so
That would be-
dark. I love it. I love
Yeah,
it.
That would be perfect.
It'd be dark. It's just
That'd be
love dark.
perfect.
I feel
I
like
love
if
dark.
it went out that way, I feel like the last thing that she'd have to be told is Anakin redeemed himself.
Yeah.
No, I think she's gonna. No, I think she's gonna.
If Anakin's Force Ghost doesn't appear to her, I'm punching my wall.
Yeah. So
It's gonna happen. It's gonna
that-
happen.
like if we were to do like how would I do it? Again, I'd have it be the Ahsoka show Ahsoka would take place technically first in the chronological timeline of this. Have in the series finale of that because so I don't know if
So,
Rangers has
question.
been what yeah.
Is it before Mando? Are you
That-
saying
That's where it's confusing because the thing is I think all these shows take place at the same time. So like during the same period of time, but I don't know which show takes place first. And I'm pretty sure it's going to be released. Like if Mando comes out first, then it's going to Mando season 3 is going to take place. But it's like I don't want that. I think Mando should be like delayed for a long time. I think we need these other shows to come out first because we need to build up these other people, not Din. Din's had 2 seasons to himself.
I agree
So,
with that.
as a-
I agree with
as
this,
of
man.
now, Book of Boba takes place between season 2 and season 3 of Mando.
Yeah.
So Book of Boba's in December. It's being
Yeah.
heavily rumored that Mando is going to be in like February of 2022,
Yeah.
which would make sense, especially since, like I said, Din's cameo is going to be like a Nick Fury, where he recruits Boba to be a part of the team again. So it would be a perfect tie-in. And
Well,
then Ahsoka's going to be at the end of 2022. We don't know the timeline. And then Rangers probably 2023. Because I don't even think they know who the main character of Rangers is. I don't even think they know.
The problem is 2023 is already booked with a movie. We have Rogue Squadrons coming out in 2023. And so that's where the problem comes in as I first of all think Star Wars should get back to more releases a year for movies. I think Disney should take this time right now from 2021 to 2023 to write out this Mandoverse movie or movie saga because I think this could be a true successor to Marvel because something that I think Marvel TV shows work a lot better than a lot of the movies. WandaVision and Falcon and the Winter Soldier is probably better than half of the MCU. So, well,
Not WandaVision.
Oh, I love WandaVision. It's amazing.
Yo, guys, can we not spoil the Falcon and Winter Soldier episode that dropped today? I usually stay up until like 3 a.m. in the morning to watch it, but I passed out, and then like today I got so busy. Like
no, it's fine. We won't.
Yeah, I was scared I wouldn't even be able to make it to this podcast.
Yeah,
I agree.
So I think that this should be more movies and TV shows. I think the TV show just works better for like big franchises. You get so much more time out of it, even if it's a mini series. Like Ahsoka, rather than give us like 3 movies, give us a TV show, even if it's like 4, 5, 6, 7 episodes, like Kenobi's gonna be. But that's what I think needs to happen is let's say Mando's released. That's what I think should happen. Is season 3 should be the failed attempt to reclaim Mandalore, and then Din in the final episode, if it does come out like that, Din should have to go out and tell Bo and all them, say, I have to go round up a few friends to come help us out. Go get Carson, go get Trapper Wolf, go get all of them, because we now know from season 2, Carson thinks something's going on. He knows that something's wrong. He even said that the New Republic isn't taking these remnants as big problems, but he said that people in the Republic, they're taking them very lightly, but he thinks that they should be taken with more, serious intent. And of course, look what happens, 25 years later, the New Republic gets destroyed. So oh yeah.
I don't mean to cut you off, but in Rangers, do you think that we see the formation of Leia like forming the Resistance? Would you want to see that in live action? Like Leia forming the Resistance, kind of?
I would, because at this point, the Resistance isn't formed yet. The Resistance goes down is really far down of the
Yeah.
30-year. It's really close to the formation of, or really close to the Force Awakens. I think it's like 4 years away from the Force Awakens is when the Resistance is formed.
That
It might be closer, it might be farther.
that's what I'm saying. Like, yo, okay, guys, I think we can all agree those 10 years before like Force Awakens, those 10 years before, like I feel like they kind of they're suggested to be really dark, I feel.
Oh
right?
yeah, I mean
Like,
the galaxy's like in a very dark place, like darker,
Yeah.
like just as dark as when the Empire was starting.
exactly, and that's why I
the-
want to see it.
The
That's why
New
I want to see
Republic,
it. It sounds
the New
epic.
Republic was a terrible government. Like they were horrible. They
Yeah,
didn't take
Yeah.
big threats seriously.
yeah.
That's why I think the New Republic is like the Sokovia Accords of the Star Wars universe.
I agree
Because-
with that so
because-
much. I agree
Because
with
like the Sokovia Accords limited the Avengers and what they were able to do, and look at what happened. Ross, instead of looking for help from Captain America, instead would rather have him arrested instead of having him go deal with Thanos and his army.
that. Mm-hmm.
And because of Mothma defunding the military by 90%, she's now basically throwing the towel in for anyone to come up and rise up.
Hey
Yeah.
guys, can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Out of all of the Star Wars governments, which one do you think arguably was like the best? Like which one do you think was the most good? Like which one arguably had the most like argument for it?
As bad as it sounds, I'm going to say the Empire.
I'm gonna say the Confederacy.
I was gonna
Oh,
say
wait,
the
pause,
Separatists
pause,
too.
wait, I mean, no, the SES. I should probably like make that more explicit. Just saying the Confederacy is kind of awkward.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Would
I
want
think-
Why do you
to
say the
that?
Empire?
Why the
Ma-
Empire?
Mainly
effective.
because there wasn't a whole lot of people who were poor. So yes, the Empire did like have a huge effect on lower end planets, but a lot of people grew to wealth and a lot of people became very rich and valuable because of the Empire. But the argument can also be made, even though the First Order wasn't a government, that's how the First Order got, and so many people got rich, is because they sold weapons. And that's why backwater planets like Lothal and all those in Tatooine, they had the heaviest hits because the Empire didn't give a shit about them. So when you have people, rising up to power, that's why the rebellion was so easy to rise, because whoever was spying the weapons was going to win the war. And ultimately, yeah, the Empire had more resources. They just didn't think threats like the rebels were a huge threat. That's why when we see the New Republic and they're saying things like the Imperial remnants aren't big deals, you could already tell that that the New Republic was destined to fall. You could just
they're
tell.
making the same mistake as the Empire.
Which even then, I don't remember if it was one of the Leia books, the argument is made from many people that the Empire was better, because a lot of people
talking about. I'm familiar.
a lot of people think that during the time of the Empire there was a lot less planets in poverty. There was a lot the place was a lot nicer. Yes, it was a lot stricter, but when there were planets who were suffering, you could just tell by the type of planet it was. Yeah, you're gonna suffer. You are a desert planet. There is not much valuable from you.
Yeah.
So that's why I argue the Empire, because even people during the New Republic said that the way that they ruled was well. It's who was ruling it wasn't good.
Yeah, it was effective. That's the
main thing. It was effective.
It was effective. That's the greatest argument. And then like you start having arguments about the like, okay, did Alderaan have it coming, right? Now see, here's the thing. I'm completely against what happened to the people of Alderaan, right?
Right.
But then again, their government was supporting a basically illegal militia, right?
Yeah. And that's the thing that a lot of people need to remember, that in the eyes of the galaxy, the rebels are bad people.
Yeah, they're
They-
terrorists.
Right.
They're terrorists.
They're terrorists.
It's like how we see in Falcon and the Winter Soldier the Flag Smashers. Yes,
Yo, I hate this. I hate the Flag.
I also hate them. I think
I
they're.
can't sympathize with them.
Well, no, I'm just saying like how the people in the Marvel universe they understand their perspective.
Yeah, yeah.
But they don't agree with like in I think it was like episode 3. Carly blew up a building with people in it.
Bro, there
Yeah.
was like 20 children in that building.
Yeah, and so it's like it's like yeah, your cause is good, but you're also
she
hurting
didn't
people.
feel bad about it at all.
Yeah,
It didn't seem like she felt bad about it. She basically responded, "It's because of the cause, right?"
Yeah.
Like
And-
at least Anakin, after killing
Yeah.
a room of children, cried.
yeah, it's
Like,
and it's also
that's how
not
I
even
feel.
like with the rebels. You have to remember they were recruiting people to be a part of their cause at 6 years old. Like
Yeah.
for high octane fighting, they were getting teenagers and 6-year-olds to fight for them.
Yeah.
That's putting children in harm's way. But the Empire never did that. You had to be a certain age to be a stormtrooper. You had to have certain qualifications.
But the First Order did kidnap orphans.
That's why they didn't work because
Yeah, but that's
people
a
didn't
different
stand for
sect.
that.
That's a sect.
Yeah.
Right? First Order is a sect of the Empire, technically.
And they didn't even so they didn't even become a government. No, the galaxy didn't stand for the First Order reign. The First Order struggled to contain like I think it was like 10 planets because so many uprisings happened. Because the First Order wasn't equipped for that. The First Order was just equipped to destroy the galaxy essentially. So Palpatine could slip in and be like, "Hey guys, I'm back. Didn't miss you."
All right. I guess we've kind of talked about everything on the planet, so I guess we could kind of wrap this up.
Well, wait,
yeah,
you didn't tell us what you thought
Yeah.
Of what?
of who you think the best government for Star Wars was.
Probably the Republic until Palpatine. It just shows. No, it just shows. I guess for thousands of years it operated fine until they had pretty much a magician corrupt it.
Bro,
Like,
A godlike being corrupted it. Like it just shows that though that democracy is important.
Yeah.
But at the same time it could become tyrannical.
Yeah.
So yeah, I guess that's my take. I want to thank you guys for being here, for everyone who watched. I had a good crowd on my stream on TikTok and here.
High five.
I want to thank my co-host Alex. We'll be back next Friday.
Yes, sir.
And we will be doing Bad Batch reviews when that comes out. So watch us talk about how great of a show that's going to be. And I guess we'll go with our special guest, our first guest. We'll definitely have more guests.
Yes.
Gabe, tell us where they can find you and what you'll be doing here in the future.
You can find me at Darth Crate 5 off of TikTok. Honestly, I'm just gonna continue making videos in the same likeness that I am at the moment. I just want to showcase really deep Star Wars lore that I feel like doesn't get enough eyes on it, or connections that don't get enough eyes on it. And hopefully I can go hard enough that I can come back one day on this on this podcast.
Yeah, you'll definitely be back on. And Alex, tell them where they can find your beautiful self.
They can find me at Candy by Van on TikTok. Again, that's really the only social media platform I use. I post MCU Star Wars stuff. I do think if you think Anakin is the best Jedi, you like the racist. No, I'm joking, but that's really it. I post a bunch of just random content, reviews, and some lore stuff from here to there. I am going to be posting more, but yeah, Candy and my band on TikTok is where you can find me.
I will say, you gotta post more. I think your content's great. You gotta post more. Don't post enough.
It's hard to find ideas.
It kind of is.
I know. Ideas are hard sometimes.
Dude, I post twice a day. I always say unless it's a Sunday, I post twice a day. And it's kind of hard for me. But I think of something usually. Yeah, so I guess we're gonna wrap this up. And everybody, you know where you can find me. I'm the good looking one on this podcast. You can find me at Hammy the Man on TikTok, and you can find me at Drew H on YouTube, where this podcast will be up probably tomorrow. And yes, we will see you in the second episode of Wars in the Stars next Friday. So
Stars.
peace out.